Sharks of the Corn? Virus Shark? Cocaine Shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
This week, we discuss how nothing burps like bacon. I'm Derek.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jack.
And this is Dutch. Welcome back to Bad Movies, Worst People. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It's time to celebrate the rape of land and people.
Let's celebrate the fact that a bunch of white colonists didn't know how to farm the land that they were on. So the Native Americans took it upon themselves to make sure these white people didn't starve, and they got repaid in a way.
They got repaid with blankets, land.
Smallpox.
I was saying the positive way.
That's why I don't celebrate this fucking holiday, dude. It's such bullshit.
I don't celebrate
but
Thanksgiving.
You're
eat
leaving,
food.
Yeah.
right? Like you're leaving right after this?
Oh, I'm on a plane.
Yeah, you are on a plane right now, aren't you?
No, just in my mind.
We're doing this remotely via airplane.
I'm remotely interested.
Did you get a window seat?
No, I like the aisle so I can stretch out.
Elbow that cart?
Dude, if I'm by the fire exit or a window, I gotta like be in charge of shit. You don't want me in charge of like crashing.
They're always like, okay, you have extra responsibility. You have to be in charge of this emergency exit. I'm like, if the plane crashes, we're not getting out.
But you also have extra leg space. If you're
that's
by
true.
the fire door, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know the way I get extra leg space on a plane? I drive.
Yeah. That'll do it.
For new listeners, welcome. This is a comedy podcast where we talk about movies, but we mostly use them as a way to start discussions that would disgust our parents and terrify our priests. All right, this is 1991's Dutch, directed by Peter Faiman, who also directed Crocodile Dundee, and that's it.
You didn't do the second one?
Nope.
Shame, because that second one's really good. So's the first one.
And this one's written by, for some reason, everybody's favorite, John Hughes.
Yeah.
I was his targeted demographic.
Oh, I'm a Hughes fan.
I'm not a Hughes fan.
Yeah,
I'm a Hughes fan.
I think
Hughes-mongous.
I think a lot of his stuff is incredibly problematic and racist.
Sure. I mean, a couple are. I wouldn't say most of him.
It's all about rich white people or high, upper middle class white people.
You're right what you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right what you know. There are some of his that I just always forget are his, like this one, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Every Thanksgiving I watch it.
He directed that
up.
one, right?
Yeah, but I think he wrote it too.
Yeah. But I mean, like that's a full on John.
It just
Hughes.
always surprises me again every fucking year.
And there are some that I like. I like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
For sure you do.
I like Home Alone, I think.
Yeah, I know I do.
I remember liking it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh, yearly.
That might be it. No, there's others. Like all the John Candy movies.
16 Candles.
That's a
Don't
problematic
care.
one he's talking about.
I also don't care.
Yeah, Pretty in Pink.
I mean, Breakfast Club is okay.
Say Anything? Is
I
that
like
him?
the people in Breakfast Club.
St. Elmo's Fire. Was that him?
St. Elmo's Fire is trash though.
I
There's
haven't
not
seen
one.
it.
There's
That's
not
actually one I
one
haven't
redeemable
seen.
person in that fucking movie. Like every character in that movie sucks. They're all trying to fuck their friends,
Kind of like Rent?
girlfriends. Kind of like, oh god, I don't want
Oh
to
God,
consider
Rent.
it a movie.
Oh man, our landlord's a piece of shit because he's kicking us out even though we haven't paid in a year.
Yeah, what a piece of shit trying to stay open for business.
But he you know all those John Candy movies, like he did like Great Outdoors and stuff, didn't he?
Love Great Outdoors.
Uncle Buck, that's all
Yeah.
good.
Speaking of, John Candy was originally looked at for this role.
Yeah, it was supposed to be either like John Candy. Who else? Someone else turned it down.
Sean Connery?
John
Sean Connery. No, Mel Gibson.
Oh, I'm gonna bomb with this boy.
Mel Gibson in '91. So like,
This would have been insane. Like any time that he's not getting along with the kid, like listen, you little fucking shithead, and just be threatening him.
like it's
Yeah.
wait, is he Murtaugh or Riggs?
He was Riggs.
Riggs.
So yeah, just
I had to
imagine
picture-
Riggs fighting a kid in a
Just
in a
that
hotel room.
I think it would have been too pretty though. I think Ed O'Neill was the best way to go.
Oh, Ed O'Neill is, I think, the best way. But do you think that fucking Riggs is doing his Three Stooges curly when he's beating his kid up? Hey, Mel, what
Yes.
Oh,
1000%.
So,
Sean
I mean-
Connery would have been great too because he said, "I'm fucking your mother." Anytime this kid comes right at him, I can do something you can't. I can fuck your mother.
I love it. Because instead of the part where Ed O'Neill's like, I'm a friend of your mom's, he'd just be like, I'm inside your mom.
I've been inside your mother. Watch that lip, or I'll be inside of you.
That is something they both had in common, though. They were both inside of her.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem at one point in this
One
movie.
came out and one came in.
Oh,
It does seem like at one point in this movie, Ed O'Neill threatens to be inside of him also. We'll get
Yeah.
there. So this movie came out in 1991. It's rated PG-13, and it made exactly $0.
Oddly enough, it came out in July.
Which
Did it really?
might be why it made no money.
Yeah.
This movie only made $4.6 million.
Wow.
And it cost 17.
It is such a
Wow.
cult classic. I mean, at least in
my
life.
household.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was looking through reviews on Letterboxd, and it's because it's got like a 3.8, which is about what everything on Letterboxd has.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a bunch of 5-star reviews.
People
but,
like myself probably that have watched it a bunch.
I went through, I filtered it out by the 5 stars, and like 9 or 10 of the top 30 were people who were like, I watch this every year. I'm like, well, then your review
It's not relevant.
doesn't really count, because that means you've been watching it since you're a child.
Yeah.
And then there was a bunch that were negative, but I'm just going to touch on one real quick. My favorite 1-star review was from some girl, looks like some little like Zennial, 20-something kid. My mom bought this on eBay just to show me, and I'm not sure why.
Is it because you're a little shithead shipper kid?
Are you a spoiled brat?
Yeah.
It's clearly some mom who's like, I loved this movie, and then shows it to the kid, and the kid's like,
Meh.
I didn't see a single CG unicorn.
Oh, I've done this with nieces before. I put something on. They're like, "Why do we watch that?" I'm like, "Because it's Empire Records.
We can
It's fucking
quote,
amazing. Like, what's
Right?
your
we
what's
can
your
quote
deal?"
Zoe on this one. Is this one of those movies where I have to pay attention?
Yeah. It's not a TikTok.
But yeah, so it didn't make any money. So Peter Faiman really never got to direct anything again.
Bummer.
Also, and this is part of why John Hughes is a dick too. Apparently, he was calling Ed O'Neill on like a daily basis, and he's like, "Come to my house. We'll have dinner. We'll hang
This is
out.
the
We're gonna
director?
be friends." John Hughes.
John Hughes.
Yeah, he's like, "Come over. We'll have dinner. We'll be friends. We're gonna work on this project together. We're gonna work on that project together." The movie bombed, and he never spoke to Ed O'Neill again.
Rude.
I'll tell you what, man. This movie did not bomb because of Ed O'Neill.
No, it did not.
It's
It
true.
bombed
This movie
because
is-
it was released in July.
And it's a Thanksgiving movie.
I guess the only reason this movie is on this podcast is because it bombed. It's technically a bad movie.
He had
Disagree
never
with
seen
that.
it.
I picked it because I'd never seen it.
Uh-huh.
All I've ever heard is either people like you guys who've seen it a million times since you were kids, which again, I'm like, well, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because I like things that I've got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie over there on Blu-ray. It sucks.
It's
You know.
true. He does.
It's true. It sucks.
These are both true.
Yeah.
But then, like a bunch of other people have told me, like, oh, it's the less funny Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which I also didn't see until I was an adult. But I love that movie.
So-
But I think this, kind of surprisingly to myself, I think this flows better.
Yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is funny, but it's
very
less of a
chaotic.
comedy and very fucking tragic.
And
It's hard.
A little anxiety inducing sometimes for people that worry about things going wrong. Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all gonna go wrong.
It's all Murphy's Law right there,
It's-
man.
Yeah.
When then it's like
Whose fucking law are you talking about there? Not my law.
that one has a weird like tone, because there's like the serious stuff and it's got some funny moments, but it's mostly awkward stuff.
It is the
And then
drama.
all of a sudden you have like cartoonish comedy, like when they're driving down the wrong side of the road and they go between the two semis and spin off.
You're going the wrong way. How do they know which way? How do they know where we're going?
Dude, that's one of my favorite lines. But that whole scene doesn't make any sense, like in that movie. You know what I mean? It feels like something out of another John Candy movie,
Yeah.
or out of like Cheaper by the Dozen or something, not out of this
I love
almost
that
serious movie. You know what I mean? I love it. It's
So
just.
this one,
But this has a
Dutch,
more consistent tone, is what I was.
This
Yes.
one was off my radar for at least 10 years because it just wasn't anywhere. I couldn't find it on a not standard definition, and I
Right.
couldn't find it streaming. So I was a little nervous last night. Like, God, I really hope this isn't a situation where you put it on, it sucks, and my entire childhood was a lie. We'll get to how I feel about that.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, so as we get started, anybody out there who's like, "This is a great movie," fuck you guys. We watched it. We get it. It's funny.
We know.
It's
We
funny.
know.
It is good, and this is my first time seeing it, and that doesn't always work
Yeah.
for an 80s 90s movie.
It
I'm gonna
doesn't.
say 80s. It's
That was-
91. This is an 80s movie.
It's an 80s movie.
100% it's an 80s
I mean,
movie.
80s Chicago or 90s Chicago is just the 80s.
You recognize the mom, though, yeah?
From the show Frasier, sadly.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, she's the mom from
shit.
Poltergeist.
Okay. I fucking knew her.
And then, of course, Doyle.
She's also in The Big Chill, which is a great movie.
But I didn't look her up because I was like, oh, I know her from 3 episodes of Frasier.
Oh.
Sadly.
And that's the thing is I was like, the whole movie, I'm like, 11 minutes of the movie she's in, I was like, I recognize her. I recognize, why do I know her?
She looks
and
amazing.
I pulled
in
it up
this
on
too.
IMDb just to double check. And the first thing was like Poltergeist. And I was like, oh shit, of course. We just watched that in theaters a few months ago. Like, I get
It's
it.
fresh in your brain.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we talked about Ed O'Neill playing Dutch. And then this little shitbird.
Oh God, fuck this
If
kid.
you were a 90s kid like us, fucking Ethan Embry, Empire Records.
I'm sorry. He's not an Embry yet.
Oh, that's right. He was Ethan Randall right now.
What happened there?
I don't
Ethan
know.
Randall is his real name. And they
Interesting.
changed it after, what was it? Can't Hardly Wait is when he went
I think you
to-
said you looked it up when they changed it. I think you said it was after Empire Records.
Yeah, it was after because Empire Records, he was still Ethan Randall.
Really?
Yeah. Can't Hardly Wait, he was already Embry. So there
Yeah.
was one thing in between that he's like, fuck it, let's be an embryo.
I didn't remember he was in this. Like, I mean, I've seen this movie a lot, and just as soon as he pops up, I'm looking, I'm like, that's fucking Ethan Embry playing a shit kid.
He was like, I didn't realize that was Ethan Embry. I was like, what?
Oh, I clocked it right away.
He doesn't
It was
look.
before we watched it.
So on the
Oh,
cover, the
gotcha.
poster that they show, to me, it doesn't look anything like Ethan Embry. So I was like, okay, maybe he changed his name and then his entire face changed
Mm-hmm.
and he became a different person. But he looks like Ethan Embry in Empire Records.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You know, puberty.
When he's got his glasses off and he's doing his normal like acting stuff, he looks more like I recognize him
Himself.
But on the cover with his little stupid ass Harry Potter glasses and his
Uh-huh.
little Dutch boy haircut, I was like, who the fuck is this?
And then I was like, did you know
And
you look
Dutch
like
boy.
a little Dutch boy when you were fucking 7 years old?
No,
Like-
when I was 7, I had a sweet flat top and like a rat tail. So
Oh, you know I had
Okay.
a rat tail.
6?
I was basically a Padawan. I looked a lot like fucking Anakin there.
Just a Padawan looking for a master.
There's a picture of you and your brother, and you were over 7 because your brother's not an infant, and you have blonde hair, and it's parted down the middle, and you have your hand. Oh no, maybe it's the side, but your hands are on your grandpa.
Say, what are you, a son?
I wasn't
from
blonde in that
fucking,
picture.
You're blonde.
I'm not blonde.
Are you a son from Home Improvement?
He was.
Speaking of Home Improvement, let's get back to this movie because there's a guy from Home Improvement.
Oh, I
in this.
know. Right away, I was like, this is the
Immediately.
guy. I had to look him up. I was like, I need your fucking name right
This
now.
is the iron or
Oh.
the torch of the grilled cheese guy.
Yeah, he's one of the construction band, which
Yes.
we've mentioned on the show before.
Yeah.
But we'll get there when we get there.
Also, Ed O'Neill and Ethan Embry did another movie together.
Dragnet?
Yeah, Ethan Embry was his partner.
It was awful.
Yeah, I saw it.
I kind of want to see it now.
I don't even know if it's a show, if it's an episode, because it's just boring.
I was just going to say, like, I don't know if it's bad enough to even be fun.
Don't change that dial.
I don't know.
I
It's
think
just
you should
boring.
change that dial.
Yeah, change that dial as quickly as possible.
Change that dial. I got a couple in the coffer.
Okay.
So, anyway, we start the movie with Natalie Standish, played by Jo Beth Williams, the mom we were just talking about.
Looking beautiful as all.
And she's at this fucking snooty cocktail party. Like, right out of the gate, I was like,
buffer.
and I knew the plot synopsis, but right out of the gate, I was like, well, if you didn't know, you watch the first scene of this movie and you're like, oh, slobs versus snobs. Gotcha. Because it's just like,
With a twist.
yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, he's still a slob. He's just a wealthy slob.
He's just a well-to-do slob.
But it's a typical like John Hughes thing where it's like the blue collar guy and then the rich people, except for in this case, the rich people realize it's cool to be blue collar versus the other movies where they make the weird outside people change to them.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast Club. So
Don't be a gross nerd anymore. Be a rich jock.
quit being a goth. Put on pink.
If I could.
Put on pink and you'll be prettier.
No,
It's another movie.
I know. I said no.
Okay.
You should smile more.
Oh, please finish that
I think
sentence.
the microphone just heard your anger at me.
Please finish that
People
sentence.
should know I would never actually say that to somebody without joking.
I don't know why why men feel the need to tell women you'd be a whole lot prettier if you smiled once in a while.
Because they're coming from a culture where all women were supposed to do, not a culture, a time frame, when women were just supposed to be pretty and smile no matter what. Like, that's the purpose of what your existence was for these men.
I got told that 2 years ago from a kid.
Who was raised
By
by
an
Archie
asshole.
Bunkie.
Archie Bunkie?
Yep.
You can't say the other one is trademarked.
I don't want to get sued by Archie Bunkie.
Oh God,
and his
it's
niece
just
Bunky Brewster.
It's so demoralizing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've luckily never been there. But
My retort is always, "You'd be better if you had a bigger dick."
oh yeah, I think we need to work on a really awkward smile for you. So maybe like you should smile more. Just okay, smile less. Please never
That's
smile at me again.
That's my smile.
That's great. I love it. I do kind of think you should smile more now. Shit, backfire.
So these ladies are talking to Natalie, and they're like, "Oh, why didn't you come last year? I wasn't invited." This is all just introducing her story, which she goes into real quick. And she's like, "Oh, you don't know this person. Can I say what happened?" And
Can
she's
I introduce you to exposition?
"Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, that I married fucking Shooter McGavin, and he locked me in a house, knocked me up, left me, and now fucked me over." Yeah, you can say that.
Oh, you can
Basically.
It was definitely he knocked up a waitress at your country club.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, even worse.
Oh, he's got a road baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that's Chris McDonald, who's barely in this movie, but it's him and his mustache.
Oh yeah, he is young Shooter McGavin.
And a little more trim version of him.
Yes.
Usually he's
Yeah.
a bit more like stepdad bod.
Yeah. But he's also wearing an 80s suit. They're loose fitting.
Yeah.
He was a youngin.
He was a youngin'. Oh yeah, we all get bigger.
This is definitely young Shooter McGavin. Like same characteristics, same movements, same
He's
facial
a little more
expressions.
reined in. I would have appreciated some finger guns, some popping the collars, shooter, huh?
But
Yeah.
I think that's what happened at the end of this movie. He turned it into
I like playing that role. I could do that role.
he got brain dead. I mean,
yeah.
I forgot who he was. What's your name, Mr. Standish? Shooter McGavin. It's Standish.
What's your name, Mr. Standish?
Yeah.
Shooter McGavin.
Well, they're rich people. They're trying to give you the answers to the questions they're asking.
Yeah.
And then for our slobs versus snobs introduction, so like, yeah, there's that. She's talking about how she was a waitress, and then Ed O'Neill, who's with these other snooty guys in
He's
some
smoking
kind
a
of
cigar
library.
on the balcony.
Yeah. On the
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be a longer joke, you know, because he gets locked out and the dog comes around. He gets out back inside pretty quick.
With I think it was a perfect amount of time. I
Yeah.
didn't
Also
think it
with
needed
some
to be
shit on
drawn
his
out.
coat. I don't know
Yeah,
what that
what
was.
was on the back
There
of
was
his
like a
coat?
bunch of crap on the back
There's
of
a
his
cut
coat.
scene where he fell or climbed
Yeah.
down.
Or
There's,
sat on something.
there's a cut scene. It's fine because I think this movie's timed well.
Definitely.
Yeah, 107 minutes, and it
Yeah,
wasn't
I got
too
time
long.
for that.
I do love that Shooter was like, "Well, when am I going to meet him?" Or no, Shooter's mom is like, "I must meet your new friend." And she's like,
meet your new
"Oh,
boyfriend. Who's that new
you'll know
penis
who
you
he
have?"
is once you
Yes.
see him."
You'll know him. And I just like the way you introduce that he's not a snob is he picks up that little cracker with caviar,
A perfect
and flicks
flick.
that shit in the ashtray, and I make it a rule not to eat anything a fish leaves in a riverbed.
You know what I mean? And these guys just look at him like, no.
You just flicked $2,000 in 91 money into that ashtray.
I mean, that cracker's probably boring as shit anyway.
I don't know what
That ain't no
$2,000
Ritz.
in 91 money is, but I looked up the money he had in his wallet later when he says he lost $200, and it's about $500 now.
Oh, okay.
So he
Well.
flicked like $10,000 of today money worth of caviar into that ashtray.
Maybe
15 G's. 15 Jesus.
Oh, and then yeah, he meets all the snooty folk, including Chris McDonald, and he gets that like intimidating line. He's like,
This line is, I love it. Talk about that when he threatens him.
yeah,
He's like, hey, man, if you hurt her, I will punch you so fucking hard, your dog will bleed. Holy shit.
great to meet you.
I just want to get Sean Connery at that. If you hurt her, I'll punch you so fucking hard, your grandmother will bleed. Like, he just keeps interjecting shit.
I like your Sean Connery laugh. Kind of sounds like Santa Claus.
I'm coming down your chimney. The only presents I leave is my own. It's a jovial Sean Connery.
I love
A bit
it.
mischievous, if you will.
I love it.
It's before I started beating my wife. That came after.
Oh,
Oh, problematic with that dude.
did not know that.
Yeah, he thought beating his wife was okay because it's his wife. It's
He's
not a
from the old
thing.
world, okay?
Yeah, where it still wasn't okay. We just, you
You
know,
can hit your own
overlooked it.
property.
Yeah, that's his mentality.
Remember, rule of thumb: it was legal to
Rule of
beat
thumb.
your wife if.
Well, Thumb, that's not very fucking white.
Exactly.
Should
Should be rule of wrist.
So then we meet Doyle Standish, who's played by Ethan Randall, in this abandoned school dorm.
Oh my god!
I don't know what this place is. Like it's literally like
is-
it's like the private school dorm, but it looks like an abandoned house from a horror movie. They just sprinkled some stuff into each of the kids' rooms.
It's
but
toy
the hallways
soldiers.
are barren. There's shit on the walls.
It's
the
toy
fucking
soldiers where the goddamn terrorists came over to take over the military schools. Will Wheaton. They got rid of the terrorists, but the government never came in and put it back together. It's just Lord of the Flies military school.
Yes, it is, because there are no
Or boarding
teachers there.
school.
It was definitely a preparatory boarding school.
Yeah,
you
because
can
he
tell
talks to
that.
that kid about how like, oh, you're only here because your daddy's on the board or whatever.
They do a wonderful job of setting up that this is a shithead, like a shitbird right away. Because the
Oh.
kid walks in, he's like, "What are you doing in my room?" He's like, "Door's open." It wasn't open. It was unlocked.
Yeah, and he was.
And
I mean, I
fuck
guess
you.
they're
Do
using.
you know how to knock?
They're using the whole thing of him cleaning his keyboard to show that he's an asshole, and I'm
His
like, well,
obsessive-
that's just good care. For,
That's proper maintenance, dude.
Yeah, you have to. Those keyboards you had to clean. Those keys are lifted. Shit gets down in
I mean,
there.
we're talking about clickety clacks.
yeah,
like
that's
heavy
a clickety
clacks.
clack. Yeah, strong on the clack.
Strong clack on that keyboard.
There is that line he has, which like it's from all these movies, and at this point it's to make him look like an asshole. But this era of like doing a normal person's job means you're a piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
Because he's like, what does he say? Oh yeah, he's gonna tell on him for cussing, and he's like,
Yeah.
working in the kitchen will be good for you. You'll get a glimpse of your career at Burger King.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, because there's a lot of problems with preparing food for people. It makes you a piece of shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I do
Service
love.
industry must be scumbags.
I do love that does come around.
Yeah. Oh, you were watching that soccer documentary, the Beckham thing.
It's called a sockumentary.
I was.
And they were talking about like the American MLS when it first started, and about how like some of these guys were pool cleaners and gardeners and stuff because they were only making like $13,000 a year.
Yeah.
And one of the English soccer players, football players, was like, "Man, you're out there playing with pool cleaners. You shouldn't be doing that." And I was like, "Man, fuck you. Pool cleaners are people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to fucking feed your family. You, got to
guys are
roof
soccer.
your head,
You guys
dude.
are sportsmen. You barely have a job."
Uh-huh. That's the struggle, man. If you're not pro, sure, there's probably professional players on certain leagues that have to have a second
Well, that's what the
job.
MLS was. Professional players. They just
oh,
could
I'm
only.
a real sport.
Oh, okay.
You're such an American.
I like soccer.
I did like when Beckham was giving his speech, his like when he was joined the LA team, and he's like, "First comes my family, then comes soccer."
Yeah, get it right now, buddy.
So anyway, she schedules
You're
a
in the
flight.
colonies.
He's supposed to have Thanksgiving with Shooter McGavin.
He
And
hates
Shooter-
his mom.
Yeah, and Shooter McGavin is like, oh, I have to go to Europe for a big trip, and she's like, okay, I'll give you a ticket, come see me. And he's like, yeah, I'd rather stay here alone by myself because go fuck yourself.
No,
And we
Dad
don't-
is coming to get me. You're wrong.
He doesn't hate his mom at the beginning. He blames her for the divorce.
Oh no, he
Yeah.
hates her. I mean, as far as we are getting concerned, like
Yeah.
this, he won't talk to her on the phone at certain times. When he is on the phone with her, he's just like, "I'd rather drown," or I'd rather be alone than
Yeah.
deal
He's
with
being
you.
a shitbird because he's not understanding. He's only hearing what his dad tells him. He
Yeah.
has his dad on such a pedestal, which it
Kids do.
sucks.
It happens. It happens for a young man going through divorce at this time. I'm sure.
So Dutch says he'll go pick him up while he's preparing this horrendous looking pot roast.
Whoa! I thought it could have been okay. I mean,
Clearly it wasn't.
chicken.
he butchered that chicken. I don't mean a good way.
No, I was laughing about that though, because she was like, "That's a really dull knife," and he just pulled out the butcher knife, and started hacking it up, and I was like,
He's like,
"Yeah, good move."
Going
we
through
were talking.
knives.
I was talking about it with the bleeps about like, is that just a really bad stage knife? But then he gets a new knife. I'm like, oh, it's a part of the movie that
Yeah.
it's and then just fucking crack with that big
She
old
jumps.
butcher knife.
But he does just chop it into quarters and then throw it in the pot, and I'm like, "There's like guts and stuff in there. You probably don't want those in
Not
your."
a whole chicken. They usually take
They
that
should
stuff
dress
out.
that
Oh,
down.
okay.
I mean, you are gonna have to pull some bones out,
Yeah.
but
But then it cuts to like a beautiful dish, and
little
she says,
souffle
"Oh, it
dish.
smells amazing," and they're in a restaurant.
pull out to a restaurant. Whatever you were doing didn't work, Pally.
And we
You look
and
like
we,
my cooking I see.
and we do see
Stuffed like a haggis.
Ethan Embry doing shitty karate. Like he's doing,
Well-
he's trying to practice karate, but when he does the punches, he's just flailing his arms. I was like, this kid doesn't know karate.
It's very Bart Simpson. If I'm leaving my room, but I'm doing this. Ah.
Fun story: Ed O'Neill has a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, Brazilian, I think,
Yeah.
is what I looked up. Yeah.
I love him more and more.
Yeah. He was born. We always play this guessing game. Like, what state is he born?
Kansas.
Kansas? What do you think? I went with Pennsylvania and I was wrong, if that gives you.
I don't know. Middle America somewhere.
Florida.
Illinois. Somewhere with
Ohio.
Ohio.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, the Middle America, though. I mean, like, Ed O'Neill screams, and I mean this with all fucking respect, Middle America, working class.
Yeah.
Right in between us, though.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, Illinois, Indiana doesn't count, so Ohio.
Indiana's not real until Parks and Rec comes out, and it's not out in 91.
And this little fucking shithead, he's at this place by himself, and he's leaving his little karate practice, and he fucking kicks over this janitor's trash can.
I
Oh,
hated
God.
this. I was like, you can be a shitbird, but fuck off, dude.
I was like, God, does Ed O'Neill push this kid out of the car at some point? I really hope he
Should.
does.
He
He kind of does. So Ed O'Neill's in a good mood, driving down to Atlanta from fucking Chicago, which I didn't catch where they were, but I asked her, I was like, are they going back to Chicago? And she's like, I'm not sure. And I was like, that's a John Hughes movie. They're going to Chicago.
They're always going. When in doubt, Chicago it out. When he's driving, though, I had like flashes, and this is before I knew John Candy was supposed to be cast or was thought of. He's got the John Candy lip syncing to the radio.
Yeah.
And I mean, John Candy's playing the dashboard, and this is close.
And so Dutch is in Doyle's room when he shows up, and I don't know if he knew who he was or not, if he thought he was just like a random stranger.
I think intruder.
He just thought intruder.
He did mention that the mom, like Dutch mentions that mom did call him and tell him he was coming. So maybe, I don't know, but he starts attacking him, and he shoots him he shoots him in the balls with a BB gun.
Oh yeah.
But
After
did you
kicking
hear the
it.
shell?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're launching out 9mm casings. Whoever's doing the sound is like, fucking no one's gonna care.
Also, speaking of kids who are like, his kid's like, oh, you need to follow this rule, you need to follow that rule. You have a gun at school. I know it's a BB gun,
Yeah.
but dude, they're
It's
not
still
letting you
a-
have a BB gun
and
at
this
school.
is 91 BB
But
gun,
he's-
which looks like a fucking sidearm.
Yeah.
It does.
Like, we're not
but
talking
he's
about
better
nowadays.
than everybody, remember?
that's
Because
fair.
he's got money.
That's true.
He does say
That's
that. The kid's
true.
like, why do you think you're better than everyone else? He's like, I don't have to think.
I don't have to
Fuck
think
that
it.
kid. I like literally fuck this kid all the way through this movie, even when he's not as shitty. I'm like, I still don't like you.
Yeah.
You
And
just don't like kids.
good for
That's
Ethan
true.
Embry or Randall.
Ethan Randall.
Ethan Randall.
Good for him for making a career after this.
Yeah.
Because you could have easily been typecast as somebody that I just don't like.
Yeah, I think that's why he did Empire Records. He's like, that's the other cut. That's the other
Completely
side.
like
Mark,
a
you're
180.
awesome.
So my band is with a C because my name's with a K.
Mark sucks.
Yeah.
Dutch does say, because he's like, I'm not going with you. And he's like, oh, you're going to just stay here, watch some football, make a turkey sandwich, hang yourself in the bathroom.
I was like, oh man, because as he's reading that, I was like, this sounds like my Thanksgiving. Oh, hang yourself in the bathroom. Ooh, no.
No, my shower curtain wouldn't hold me.
I do it in the closet.
Oh, a little in
Yeah.
excess for you. eh?
I want my death to be a hide and go seek,
I get it.
like an adventure for the children too.
That's why when I die, I want to be cut into pieces and hidden around the city. And I want everybody to have to do a scavenger hunt. And then you can cremate it.
When I die, I want my body to be like a spring shoved up me and then put in a box with a crank on the side. That's the final Jack in the box.
Aww.
Put it in the coffin and have everybody at like the memorial thing and the
Zoe
coffin
starts
sitting there.
turning the thing.
And someone's like, Jack said
Charlie.
he
Charlie
wanted-
turns it.
it starts playing a song. It's like one of your favorite songs. And they're like, oh, that's a cool little. Just Mark Hamill Joker laugh plays.
Oh, fucking Mark Hamill Joker laugh out of a career.
So he ends up carrying Doyle out by like hog tying him to
Best
this.
image of the movie.
Yes.
And I believe used on either the DVD cover or some promotional work.
Definitely, I
He
remember
has
seeing
got
a
him
poster of that.
tied wrists and ankles on a hockey stick
Yep.
and underwear gagged in his mouth.
Don't
So
know
in
if
the
it's
car,
clean.
he's clearly tied to it, but when they're coming out, I didn't see any ropes. I was looking, and I was like, he's just holding onto that hockey
No,
stick.
I think he had. Well, maybe he
was a
was
tie.
for
He was
stunts. He
tied
probably
with a tie.
was 100% holding
Yeah.
on to it.
And
But-
it has one of my favorite lines from Ed O'Neill. He's like, "Oh, what do you like to do for fun?" But he's gagged, so he's just like, "Oh, you like to wiggle and cry? Yeah,
like to
me too."
And nobody
Sexy
says
time.
anything about this man literally kidnapping
Well,
this
the only
child.
person on campus right now is that janitor, and he's like,
Oh,
"C'est la vie."
I have a different theory, man. All the teachers there watching all we can't touch him, but we can not stop that guy from touching him. I mean,
I
he's
just
getting-
I just thought it was the janitor who's like, "Fuck him."
yeah.
I just picked all that trash.
Who
up,
do you think gave him the tape? That's never gonna hold. Come here. I got some really strong adhesive. Fuck this kid.
I have some of this Gorilla Tape.
It's been like 3 years of this kid just kicking over my fucking trash.
And he's in the back, and he's got the underwear in his mouth, and he's trying to like murmur, and then like Ed O'Neill does like a brake check, like knocks him over. And then he says something at one point about
the underwear.
But right before that, he's like, that underwear might be clean or dirty. I'm not sure.
He's
And
like,
he
I have some
immediately
things
spits
to
it out.
apologize for. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have tied you up. And I don't know if that underwear I shoved in your mouth to shut you up is clean or not.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he can spit it out right away.
You muster up that strength, dude.
Yeah.
I got to get this dirty underwear out of my mouth. I'll use my
This could
tongue.
be dirty.
Let me rub my tongue against it.
Yeah, the kid fucking yells stop, and he's like, "You betcha."
Talk about this brake check, though. Can we talk about how
Oh
long
God,
this
this
thing
is
was?
so he hits these brakes and skids for 40 seconds, and then he's like, "Can't beat a Ford for braking power," and I'm like, "What are you
Yes,
talking
you
about?"
can. That is the worst braking power I've ever seen. If there was a kid on the road, they're dead.
You just braked for no less than a quarter mile and then slid into this fucking gas station from Cherry 2000 where these two old men are just sitting on the patio drinking beers and watching you yell at it, watching you scream at a tied up child, and they're just like,
Typical Wednesday.
city folk.
City folk. That's how they raised their kids.
And then we cement the theme here with, my father will sue your middle class ass into destitution or whatever, blue collar ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yes. And he does mention like, well, my monthly income is more than what your dad gives your mom to live on, so maybe shut the fuck up. And that's the first time you see Ethan Embry be like, wait, what?
He does like a little what?
He's like, I might be blue collar, but I do very well for myself.
Yeah.
And we don't know how well. We don't know what.
Not
he
until
talks about
near
being
the end.
driving
A
a cement truck at some point, which, dude, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And
I can't drive a goddamn cement truck.
His dad was a butcher
Like
or
to
something,
try.
and his mom did laundry.
Yeah, his mom did laundry.
And he's like, oh, I bet you're real proud of that. And he's like,
yes,
yeah.
I
And
am.
you do see a flash from the kid, like, wait, you're like unironically proud of your parents? Like, yep.
Fucking love him.
Yeah, they worked for a living and like, earned their keep.
Yep.
It's weird,
I
right?
love my mom. Don't you fucking talk about my mom.
My mother is a saint. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
This is when I get that weird like have a seat moment because he's like, I still owe you a shot in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me?
Phrasing. It's,
Are we still doing phrasing?
Are we
it's
still
a-
doing phrasing?
It's a good thing that we are in Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
think we're in Georgia still.
So I do want to address something because I also didn't know the exact route. I knew they were going back to Chicago, but I didn't know where they were from or where this whole thing started. And Ed O'Neill even says, like, I prefer the back roads. The interstates are just nothing but concrete. You're doing back roads through states? I also like back roads. From your house to my house, maybe. From my house to work, maybe. From my house to
from
Phoenix,
your room
no.
to another person.
And I don't know.
I don't a back road from my room to the person.
I don't know exactly how it is in that part of back east.
Yeah.
But like where my family's from, which is where Ed O'Neill's from, you got all these back roads that are highways.
Okay.
That are like raised. They're surrounded by farmland and they're raised up a little higher, exactly like he was driving on. And they do have like a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, but you could see a cop 14 miles away because it's all just long, flat shit.
So that makes
So
sense.
you could
though.
haul
It's
still.
called
I mean,
taking the scenic route.
But I'm watching and I'm like, these are houses. Like, you're driving through a neighborhood.
you
Yeah,
see these truckers
essentially.
going through this town at 94 miles an hour later in
Right?
this movie, so you can go as fast as you want on these roads.
It makes sense now that you give it some credit.
Yeah.
It's like,
So, I mean,
how
it-
much longer is this trip taking? Because you're taking neighborhoods,
It's
dude.
still going to take longer, much
course.
longer, but
also,
you know.
what day is he picking him up at?
Exactly. How long is this
'Cause
road
it
trip
was
last?
3
It feels like a
nights.
week.
yeah, it was 3 nights in the movie. Like there were 3 different night stops,
It's 3 nights. There was the Black Night. There was Ted Night.
and there was Lancelot.
There was
Oh.
Lancelot. 3 nights in this movie. Ooh, Night of the Shark.
Oh.
Spelled with a K.
She said the plane ticket was for Wednesday, and she knew he wasn't going to use it. So I know he didn't. He must not have picked him up on Wednesday because they're back for Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
he must have left Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Or Monday.
He left Friday to get there. I mean, the drive is going quickly when he's just driving. I don't know how long that drive would take because the first night they're in Tennessee.
Okay.
'Cause that's where they get the fireworks.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh,
Where-
they say
He
that.
says
That's right.
he
That's
says
right.
fireworks are legal in Tennessee. So they got from
But we're
Atlanta
not-
to Tennessee in one day.
Fireworks aren't legal in Illinois. We're not in Illinois.
What, you're gonna light these all off now?
No, he says it's so much nerdier than that too. He's like, "Are you planning on discharging all that ordnance now?" Like, fuck yeah.
How would you
No,
not
I
expect
bought them to
to
look at.
your mother's ordinance last night. Incoming payload.
So yeah, they stop at this gas station / fireworks store, which seems like a terrible idea.
Yes, it does.
Oh, I like it.
You're gonna tell me no one ever walked out of there and started lighting fireworks immediately? Some drunk
They have
redneck?
really good insurance.
Do they?
In my mind, they do. And they also don't sell lighters. It's a dry county on lighters. You got to get in your car and use a cigarette lighter, pal. Like a man.
Because they still had them because it was 91.
It's 91. They had one on each fucking door. Please smoke.
Every door had an ashtray.
Yep. Please smoke.
Ed O'Neill has these like playing cards that are like nudie,
Oh, yeah.
nudie cards.
Oh, yeah.
And he's doing this little like magic trick thing where he almost shows Ethan Embry the nipples and then hides it again, and he sees him getting all titillated, and he's excited by that. Have a seat.
Have a seat.
I like this approach, though. Like, I'm not saying it's appropriate, but I like this approach of like, dude, we don't know each other. I'm going to come at you like I would come at me as a kid. Here's some fireworks. Here's some fucking pointy cards, dude. Like,
And you know when he's
this
lighting
would
off
have
all
worked
these,
on me.
when he's lighting off all these fireworks, there's like moments where he almost gets Ethan Embry, but then he does something that you know is not going to work, like holding the fireworks in front of him, the Roman candle in front of him like a dick, and shooting stuff off, and that's when he rolls his eyes and looks away.
This I don't even know. Can you call it a montage?
I love it. Yeah.
This scene is
It's-
so fucking great, dude.
It's amazing.
It is awesome. It's Ed O'Neill having childlike fun with pyrotechnics. And
Oh, man.
He holds the Roman candle out of his butt and pretends he farts, and he does the Happy Gilmore before Happy Gilmore, where he holds it for his dick and he's thrusting.
So you know that first one he lights off where it's got like the blades on it and you light it and it spins up into the air? I have a fun story about those.
Yes, he
Okay.
does.
So
Go
we
on.
definitely didn't do this in Arizona because that would be illegal, but we had a bunch of fireworks that we didn't buy from New Mexico and bring back.
No, you wouldn't do that.
And like my parents, I grew up in a cul-de-sac and the neighbors would all come out and everybody would light off fireworks on like New Year's, whatever. So we were out there lighting off fireworks and we had one of these things and I lit it and it started spinning, but it went up for about, I don't know, a foot, and then it turned itself down, skipped across the ground, went underneath my parents' friend's car, and exploded.
The car?
No,
Okay.
we were all just sitting there like, uh-oh.
I hope
could
you have
feel
no
him next to
oil
me.
leaks.
I could feel his butthole puckering next to me. Like it was just like kaboosh underneath this car. We're all just like,
It may not be a nuke, but it'll pucker your butthole.
yeah. That was fun.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like, I can feel that tension. That's real.
We definitely would on our way to see my grandparents, we would stop in New Mexico and then take them up to Iowa, and then my uncle would go to Wyoming and take them down.
Are fireworks illegal in the nipple of America?
They don't sell them in Iowa. No.
Okay.
No, not
It's
in the
real
nipple.
weird the way that like states choose it, because Ohio, where my family's from, they're legal. Indiana, they're legal. Basically the same weather, the same everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one of the cities that my family lived in was half in both states. So you could just go to the other side of town, buy fireworks, cross the street, and then light them off illegally, which we did also.
Ain't that America?
But we had our own land, so we would. It was awesome nights there.
We
Fuck
did that
yeah.
at my uncle was renting a house that was in farmland, so the farmland
Yeah.
wasn't his, and we were lighting them off. It's a bunch of corn. It's wet. It's gonna be fine. So we lit off thousands of dollars worth
What
of fireworks.
corn you say?
And one of them, all the kids who lived there got bored after like an hour because they do fireworks all the time. We didn't. So me and my brother just kept going, and we had the mortars. You know, you put them in the tube. And, so you're supposed to set it in the tube, light it, walk away. But eventually, you know, you start getting more ballsy. So we were lighting them and dropping them in like fucking like, oh, look, we're in the military. Drop it in, shoot it out. You know, we wait right before it goes off. And then one of them, my brother dropped in. So you could hear the thump, right, when they shoot out.
Oh, good thump, by the way.
My brother dropped one in and we're just walking away casually. And I hear the rocket, but I don't hear the thump.
Okay.
Because it dropped and went upside down. And we're feet away from it.
You need a thump.
So my brother's a lot younger than me, so I shoved him out of the way, and this thing blew up right behind us. I felt like it was in a Michael Bay movie before they existed, because it was just like, I wish somebody would have been recording, because it was like cool guys don't look at explosions moment. Like I'm just walking away and it's just this big behind us. I could see fire shooting over my head and stuff. It was kind of
that's
awesome.
fantastic, dude. So the only thing I don't like about this fireworks scene, it's not this part, but the one of them just happens to go towards the box of ordnance, as it were. And that's fine. But then he takes off his coat and throws it over. Like, that's not doing anything.
That's literally what
Except
he
fucking
said.
up your coat, dude. You got to
Exactly.
just get in the car and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's it.
that's
But
exactly what I said.
it does actually make me laugh at the end when it's like, I think it's all done. And one more like, it's just all the down from the jacket coming out. That's
I
great.
told her, I was like, you never check fireworks. You just assume they're still lit and you leave them alone.
Uh-huh.
But I did have a thing. He missed a good joke here, because he goes and takes his jacket off and there's just all this fireworks smoke coming out of it. And he goes to get in the car. Where's the always wanted a nice smoking jacket?
Oh,
line.
it'd be perfect. Oh, that'd be so good.
And it sits there and there's just.
I mean, there are still feathers all up in this car right now. Somebody fucked a chicken.
So yes, again, if you guys want us to punch up your scripts, badmoviesworstpeople@gmail.com.
We won't write them. We'll punch them up.
So this is where they're still driving to the first motel.
They go
right?
to that diner,
Oh yeah.
which I
Oh,
only
you
mentioned
hungry
because
now?
it's like a diner from a horror movie. I don't know what this was. Or so David Cronenberg movie. I don't know.
Crossed with the diner at the end of Spaceballs,
Oh.
where it's making fun of aliens.
Yeah,
Or alien.
because there's a guy just literally eating rib bones with
Yep.
ketchup on them.
Uh-huh.
And there's-
Disgustingly. There's not a sexy way to do that. There's not a good way to do that, but you're doing it worse.
And then the lady next to on the other side of him has
With the
like the
chains.
longest cigarette ash I've ever seen in
Are
my
you
life.
not smoking it? Are you just collecting ash? What is your deal? I don't
I used
get
to
it.
do that. I used to like try and
Oh,
keep that
you
ash on there.
would.
Yeah, I
You're
was
such an asshole.
I was like 16, dude.
It's the
course I
first
tried
of
it.
two that I noticed placements of Miller High Life.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's cases of Miller High
The
Life
sign
sitting
later,
next to the phone
the
booth.
sign later that we see is beautiful. I want it.
I
I'm
want
gonna-
one,
I'm gonna
yeah.
find it. But in the diner, I loved. He looks at the rib eater, and he looks at this guy that's just pouring grease on everything on the griddle. And the waitress asks, like, "What do you have?" And he goes, "What won't make me vomit?" And
She takes the menu from him and it sticks
well,
to
he
his
looks
fingers.
back at the. She looks back at the cook, and he's like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
probably I'll make you vomit, dude. Look at you, you weak constitutioned kid.
Right?
Clearly, you are not a trucker.
Yeah, you are no blue collar, sir. I can tell."
And they're back in the car and they have this like silent battle of like turning up the radio, turning down the
Window
radio,
up, window
turning on
down.
the heat, rolling down the windows.
You don't touch another man's things.
No, and these controls
radio.
these controls don't need to be in the middle of this car.
No.
This is terrible.
But I had my 88 Camaro had him right there.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
the windows.
we had a car that had that too. It's a terrible design. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Agreed.
But yeah, he pushes Ed O'Neill up to the steering wheel, which I'm like, he's driving you. Like you're in this car too, right?
And the windows and the AC is one thing. The radio is another thing. You are endangering everybody's life. Everybody involved.
And he does end up throwing the cigar into Ed O'Neill's lap, so they have to pull over again, almost dying.
Uh-huh.
And this is
Second
when
time
he
he's
just
abused Ed O'Neill's crotch.
Yeah.
and this is when he just kicks him out, and he's like, "Hey, I'll see you at the motel. It's about 50 miles up the road." And he just drives away. And this kid's like, "Wait, he's
like,
coming
"Stop,
back,
come
right?"
back."
Dude, 50 miles, like, that's a lot.
There's no way this was 50 miles because the kid showed up the same night.
Yeah.
It would take you a day minimum, like
was probably-
24 hours.
I'm gonna say it was probably 5 miles.
Yeah, but I think he's trying to make it seem worse, but he just drives away. And I saw the lights disappear on the road, and I thought maybe he just drove up the road and turned off the lights to make it look like he was gone.
No, he's in his underwear, his civvies, dude.
And he's watching out the window, trying to make sure that Ethan Embry makes it. But as soon as he gets there, he has that casual, like, I'm just sitting in my bed reading a book,
because
smoking
he was
a cigar.
checking the clock. I think we were like minutes
Yeah.
away from him going back, but he sees him. He's like, "Oh, jump into bed. Mom's coming. Pretend you're asleep. You've been sleeping for hours."
But there's a point where before he starts walking, he does get to a payphone. If people know what payphones still are,
It's like a cell phone, but it's a big thing you have to walk to.
calls his dad
Think of
and
a phone in a
some
box.
Is this when some lady answers?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He calls the dad's house because he tried calling his dad in Europe earlier.
Yeah.
And they were
Oh,
like,
I missed that
They were
part
like, no, we
every
don't
time
have
I
his
watch it,
number. You
apparently.
can't talk to him, whatever. That's right before he kicks over the trash can.
Gosh.
And then, here he calls the dad's house, and some chick answers, and she's like, oh, he's sleeping. And this is when Ethan Embry realizes his dad's a fucking douchebag.
And the dad, I think, knows he might be caught because he goes, "Who was that?" And she goes, "Oh, just some boy." And he kind of, you get that look
face.
of like, "Oh shit."
Which is 100% why he shows up for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it shows you this so you know he's not just there for his son. He's there to cover his own.
Yeah,
keister,
that's the
meester.
only reason he's there, to assert his dominance over his family.
Well, I'll assert some dominance all over you.
Doyle says he's got to get his bag out of the
That's what I
car.
said.
That's Ethan Embry. Sorry. I'm going back and
I-
forth.
Oh,
I
it
loved-
depends.
It's Doyle, it's Dobbs, it's Dwight,
Oh,
it's Dustin.
I don't think I don't think Ed O'Neill a single time says Doyle
Once,
at the end.
during when the cops are there
Oh, okay.
for the thing later.
that's coming
yeah,
up.
he's
Yeah.
going through it because at first it's like Dwight and stuff. It's all D's, and then eventually it's just like I don't know, Paul or whatever.
I think with the two security guards later
It's
at gunpoint,
Pete.
it's Pete.
Well,
Love
that's
it.
that's when he's doing that.
It
fake
reminds
thing.
me of Lane Smith in God damn it, another Thanksgiving movie, Son-in-Law.
Oh.
Hey, crotch, crap. He will not say crawl. Oh, I'll tell you, this boarding school could have used like the one earlier could have used a really young Pauly Shore, like being the resident advisor. All right, buddies.
Okay, as an advisor, I was like, no, he's too old. He was in what do you call it there? Phantom of the Mall. And that
But I mean,
was-
in scene, I just
But as
mean
an
like,
advisor
yeah,
or
it would be
something,
great for him. Well, even just a young this age would be. I just want to see young Pauly Shore with those fucking curls, bro.
Oh, please.
I want him to be like the fucking RA and just be like total stoner dude, but also be like a fucking white collar like yuppie.
That's right.
I have to go on a date with Buffy.
I paid my maid to bring me some grindage.
Yes, please. So this is the part where like he's finally walking up, and then they get into it in the hotel room or
Yeah.
motel. This
Oh yeah, you better motel. Don't hoe this.
this motel is gross.
It's grimy.
It's a
as fuck.
no-tell.
And yeah, and I'm like, it's 1991. You got $200 in your wallet. You could have stayed somewhere slightly nicer.
How do you think he has $200?
But
in
not
his
when you're
wallet?
taking the back roads. That's the problem.
Yeah.
This is a back road motel.
I don't think it's a problem for Ed O'Neill.
It's
I
not.
really
No,
don't
not
think it's a
road.
problem for the
I
Dutch
think
boy.
he's trying to show Doyle that there's-
Backside of America.
yeah, like
I mean,
there's other
that
people
diner
that
was
work
the butthole
hard.
of America.
I mean, I would not know if we're blue collar. We're no collar workers.
I think so.
I wouldn't stay in this motel.
That's
I would have in
because
my
you're
20s.
bougie.
I mean, I don't know. Bed bugs is the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah.
I would have in my 20s, but man, nah.
I
This,
mean, we
this
stay at Motel
motel
6s.
is worse than the homeless shelter they stay in later.
Oh,
This
for
is true.
sure.
I don't know. Ed's bed was better in this motel.
That's fair. That's those
That scene.
15,000 cheeseburgers, man. So
I'm
Doyle,
also going to start measuring my life in cheeseburgers, by the way.
Doyle goes out to the car to quote unquote get his bag, and he steals the car, and you know he's not going to make it because he can't even reverse. But then we have like this Pet Cemetery moment.
Oh my god.
This back road highway where like the car, Ed O'Neill runs out, the car's in the middle of the road, this truck comes up, doesn't hit the brakes until the very last second.
Well, it shows him trying to hit it, but it won't break.
And then I just love
It is
when-
icy roads also.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love when he's like, the trucker guy gets out and he's like, it came out of nowhere.
I said the same thing. I was like, it came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop. What do you mean it came out of nowhere? It was sitting in the middle of the road the entire time, hundreds of yards away.
This is
Yeah.
why you don't go 90 miles an hour through a town over a ridge.
This is
Yeah.
why interstates exist now.
Yes. And this car gets totaled.
Oh, and this trucker is the home improvement guy.
Yes,
With the
this
wispy
is-
beard.
This is Mickey. I looked him up. It's Mickey something.
He's the one with the wispy beard.
Yeah.
He's in so many things. I'll look up his name because we deserve to have it. And
was he also in oh no, he's the one that I thought was
I don't
in
think he's ever been on.
that Treat Williams zombie movie.
I don't think he's ever been.
You know, the weird
yeah,
face that
Dead-
had,
No,
like, the triple
no,
face?
no.
But that's who it reminded me.
We've talked
That
about
guy
this
was
guy a
much
lot, but I
bigger.
do not think he's actually ever been on the show yet. And it is Mickey Jones.
Mickey
Jones.
So look up Mickey Jones if you're listening, and if you don't know what he's in, like
I
just
feel like
one
he was
role-
in an earlier episode, but it might have been like a really early episode.
Okay.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
One year ago.
Almost a year, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're gonna do a
Um,
quiz show for our first year.
I'm gonna fail. I have this superpower where I delete everything.
Yeah, but
after.
you remember names really well. Like, there's episodes Derek and I are like, the dude in the fucking blue shirt, when he's like, that's John.
You mean like Deep Rising when I was like, the guy with the face.
Yeah. Or what did we just, the Friday the 13th, dude?
Oh,
Friday the
do you mean
13th,
Becky and Rhonda?
But I don't
and-
remember him now.
Pulling these fucking names out.
And then
lickety-split,
after we
dude.
record, I fucking expunge it out and I make room for another movie.
Okay, well, you should make more room.
With this guy?
You don't have to
You
remember
live
the
with this guy for 1 month and tell me how
So I
everything
love-
you
I'm
can
like, no, we
remember.
Our eyeballs would be shot from movies and video games.
there's
There's
times
TVs.
Yeah.
there's times when I'm like, we're watching something and she's like, I haven't seen this. I'm like, yeah, we just watched this like 6 months ago. She's like, I'm sure. Okay.
Sure.
I believe you.
At least you don't argue. You're like, yeah, it's all true.
When we first started dating, I was like, no, I've already seen it. I don't want to see it again. And now I'm like, sure. 'Cause I don't remember it. So
you beat her into submission. Good man right there. That's the way
That's
to
what
do
we
it, I
do.
tell ya.
You have to own your property fully.
And make them watch all your movies.
joke's on you. I'm the abuser.
The joke's on him.
It's not
I'm
funny.
just kidding, Dad.
As you folks know, we like to have a beer or 3 while we podcast, and sometimes that leads to a not so pleasant morning after, unless we remember to hydrate, people. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, and it's now available in sugar-free with a proprietary zero sugar solution that has no artificial sweeteners. I love using Liquid IV because it comes in convenient little packets you can take with you, makes me feel rejuvenated and hydrated, and best of all, it actually tastes good. Just 1 packet of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than just water alone, thanks to the 8 vitamins and nutrients it has, and it has 3 times the electrolytes of those other sports drinks. We love Liquid IV so much that we're offering you, our loyal listeners, a steal of a deal. Get 20% off when you grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier, sugar-free, or any other variant at liquidiv.com and use the code WORSTPEOPLE at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code WORSTPEOPLE at liquidiv.com. He pays off the cops and he helps out this trucker and stuff. So you can see here, like, he's more well off. Or he doesn't pay off the cops. I guess.
He pays off the trucker.
He pays off the trucker and he gives him his business card, which you can see, like, okay, he's got a business card. It's 91. He's not that blue collar.
This trucker's got a great line too that I'm forgetting exactly what it was, but he's like, if your daddy didn't take care of this, I would have, and just threatens the shit out of this kid.
And his face is absolutely terrified.
Oh yeah, this is something like you would have been turned into jelly or something, and then he like looks at O'Neill. He's like, eh?
Huh? The amount of child abuse that's allowed in this movie is great.
Like right now when Ed O'Neill shoves this fucking kid into a bathroom.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the kid's like, oh, I'm a high brown belt, whatever that means. He smokes a lot of weed and does karate.
Well, you get like, I think it was 3 stripes per color, and then you move on to the next color.
It depends on the thing, but
all I know is Bleep's daughter is 8 and she's higher than that.
Yeah, but there's like 3rd degree, first degree.
Yeah.
I've never heard high.
She just got above the brown, I think, like just finished striping it, if you will. So this guy should be higher than that.
Yeah, but he's a fucking
Well, he's
loser.
only been doing it for 3 years.
He'll get much higher than that when he's in Empire Records.
Yes, he will. Why?
Shame we have to kill you.
But this is one of my favorite like physical moments in the movie because Ed O'Neill's like, go ahead, fucking, you can have the first punch right in
teaches him how to ball
make
fist,
an actual fist because he's doing like little fucking kung fu fists or kung fu
God
hands.
bless Ed O'Neill for telling me, he's like, get your thumbs out of there. You don't want to break them. How many times you've seen somebody put the thumb in there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are gonna break that fucking
Or like
thing.
this.
Yeah.
Well, when he first
you
folded
gotta-
it, the thumb was on the outside, and I was like, "That's not how you do." I had to like sit there and make a fist to remember what to do. I was like, "Wait, that's not." Oh yeah, thumb down. That's right, gotcha. Because I was like, "That's not right," because he folds it with the thumb up on the top at first.
Yeah.
Because the kid's doing little chop hands, karate chop action.
Chop hands.
But he punches at O'Neill, and he fucking spins around, drops on his face with his ass in the air, and he is just out cold.
Hands in his pockets.
Doyle books it to the bathroom and locks the door.
No rules, dude. Then they're at the diner, and we get the high life fucking sign behind him. These fucking trail lights are beautiful.
Yeah.
Find one for me, please.
There's one more cute scene in the motel room.
Okay.
So they're in bed. O'Neill's got like a towel over his face.
Oh yeah.
And Doyle's like pulls out a deck of cards from his crotch.
Speaking, no one's looking.
And then does the whole like magic hand and raises the card and stops where Ed stopped. And then it flashes over and Ed's now looking at Doyle. And then he goes, I think it came in his pants right there.
He looks at the star nipples.
Yeah, starred out
hey,
nipples.
you know what, dude? At whatever age this kid is, you get what you get.
I
We're
would
talking
say
about
he's playing a 13-year-old.
And this is definitely an age pre-internet
Oh,
porn,
yeah.
obviously. Like nowadays, any kid with like nudie cards with stars over the nips, I'm looking for that step grandma shit, bro.
The backside has more nipples
fetish.
than the front. Did
Look,
you see the backside of that card?
How old were you when MILF stopped being a fetish and just became your age? like all of a sudden, it's like, oh my god, girls my age are a fetish now.
So they go to another diner, and that's where the High Life sign is. And Doyle is talking mad shit. He's like, "Oh,
I
so it
knocked you
turns out
out."
I could kick your ass, right?
Yeah.
So I can say whatever I want because you can't do anything about it."
Yeah.
Ed O'Neill's just like, "I'm not gonna hit him. I'm not gonna hit him. I'm not gonna hit him."
You know what I can do?
Yeah, that's a great one too.
I'm not gonna cop to any of the shit you just said, but I will say there's one thing that you can't do. Or that I can do. I can pay for my own breakfast.
Boom.
And face drop from fucking Ethan.
Yeah, and they cut to them on the side of the road. Ed O'Neill's burping up bacon. hence
Toothpicking, dude.
Nothing burps like bacon. He's like, your water looks pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man, you really made this kid drink water? It's awesome.
Yep.
Didn't even buy him an orange juice or a
You didn't
coffee.
even get like a milk. Something caloric.
Back then, dude, you can go without a meal.
No, I mean, you had to if you mouthed off like that.
Yeah.
I can beat your ass. You can pay for your own fucking pancakes. Damn it.
Yeah, where's all your money? Oh, is it in that box under your bed?
In my daddy's bank.
So they're trying to hitchhike. It's not working.
We get a great fucking Ed O'Neill handwork, though. And he's like, it's like he's trying to figure out how his thumb works because he's like, I can't even.
He's warming up his
exercising.
hitchhiking thumb. He's like, I haven't had to use this in a while.
He's moving his hands like he's auditioning for the Labyrinth as one of those like, hands that she said down.
Oh, I thought you meant trying to spin the glass balls.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like what
She
the hallway of
down.
Yeah.
Your wife definitely knows. It's not a Labyrinth reference. I'm gonna make that Whitney's like, what?
No, never. I will teach you shit on that.
I'm sure. I believe that.
And Doyle starts learning a little more here. Because they're on the bus, and these two, ruffians are playing their boombox very loud. And, excuse me, does that music need to be so loud?
And like, I don't know why the guy just turns it off.
Now,
First of all, I wouldn't
Would've-
listen to this little
Would
shithead.
have turned it up.
I would, if anything, I'm gonna turn it down. Like, all right, fine, it was too loud.
I will say, and this is the age of cell phones, I'm kind of with him on this one.
Oh, I'm
You're
with
on
him.
public transit, put on your fucking headphones.
Yeah.
I'm with him.
We don't live in a city with like subways or like a functioning public transit system.
Sure.
But I've been on public transit and there's people just sitting there or even in a bar or a restaurant with their cell phone out and they're just full blast. And I'm like,
Full
that's
blast listening
why.
to
Oh,
videos.
I berate people at the
Oh,
bar.
good.
I'll turn that shit down, dude. You are not the only
People who
motherfucker
take their
here.
kids to restaurants and they give them a tablet, which I already disagree with. Like, you just give it to them right away. It's not like, oh, wait till later or whatever. It's like, here, get this. So
But if
don't-
you do want to do it,
but then they're sitting there watching fucking Bluey or whatever at full blast.
dude, I was fucking blowing my brains out.
I don't know if I've told this story. I think I have. There was one time we were out to eat and some kid on the opposite side of the restaurant was
He
laughing.
was at the table next to us.
He was on the opposite side and he was laughing. He's like, "Will somebody just shut that fucking kid up?" And I was like, "Oh, you really
just-
don't want kids."
He
Yeah.
kept laughing.
I was like, "He's laughing. It could be way
the
worse."
The sound of a child laughing is usually something that most people like.
unless you're home alone.
Most people.
Yeah, unless you're home
Unless you're
alone in the
home
dark
alone.
and you don't have kids. But like, this is cackly child laughter that just wouldn't
was-
stop. It was.
I'm
It
like
was.
a
It was.
1-year-old laughing.
It was
Yeah, no,
somewhere.
I'm on
he
Jared's
was
side,
no.
dude. It's
He was
sickening.
like 6 or 8.
No,
He was a grown ass
He
baby
was
child.
6'8".
he was paying taxes.
He should have been.
I'll take the bill now. Oh, I don't have any money. I'm just a bad baby. I don't have no job. I can pay you in blocks. 2 twains.
I made a
wash some dishes.
I made a macaroni picture for you. That's our macaroni. You can't give it back to us.
Get Bill out of here. He's pretending to be a kid again.
He's just gluing cooked macaroni and cheese to a thing. He's like, I made a macaroni picture. It's gonna what?
I made you art.
What is that pic? Is that a dick? You get out of here.
Let me see that. Give me that dick picture and leave.
It's a mighty fine dick there.
But yeah, he's talking shit to these bus riders, and apparently this adult man has the same size feet as a 13-year-old.
Get the fuck out
Because
of
they
here.
steal this dude. They steal his shoes.
They
So he's-
trade shoes.
I think it's
Well-
an upgrade. I think
Yeah.
it's an upgrade.
'Cause
But
he-
I think the idea is like, I mean, they would have been nice shoes at some point before this guy got them from like a thrift store.
For sure.
Because these are like wingtip something or others, but they are
Yeah.
busted and dirty. And when he goes into this bus station bathroom to give himself a hobo bath next to the hobo,
Oh my God, this fucking hobo bath. This guy's like, you're looking forward to your turkey dinner? I was, till I watched you wipe your armpits.
They are wearing
They have
the
the same
same
shoes.
shoes.
Oh, for sure. I was half expecting Arnold or not Arnold, fuck, I wish. Sly Stone. I was hoping Sylvester Stallone was going to be here from over the top, giving himself a hobo bath.
Oh.
I know something about shithead kids myself. I'm taking a road trip with mine right now.
I read a funny
You
story
want to arm
about.
wrestle them?
I read a funny story about Over the Top. Apparently, Arnim Globus or whatever his name is from Canon. We've said his name before.
Oh, yeah, the super villain?
Yeah. apparently he wanted Sylvester Stallone to do that movie, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do this. It's stupid." And he kept offering more and more and more money until finally he was like, "I then I decided, fuck it, I'll do it. No one's gonna watch it."
It's like a cult classic to a lot of people. That's crazy.
Wow.
Good shit.
So then we have the scene where they're trying to hitchhike again. And he's trying to teach Ethan Embry to make a sad face or a pathetic face.
When we started this movie, this scene popped in my head, and I started laughing before like even the opening credits started. And Derek just looked at me. I was like, "It's a scene you'll see soon. Hold on."
Dude, yeah, this scene is fucking excellent. Try looking more pathetic. Like, do this with your hands. Do this with your face. Look, and Ed O'Neill is giving a clinic on how to fucking look pathetic face right now. It's fucking awesome.
Dad has got a bad heart.
This would be the best scene in the movie if it wasn't for the fireworks montage.
And then across the parking lot, there's these babes.
You recognize one of them?
Dottie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are watching him. They're like, "That's so sad. We should give him a ride," because I think they think he's a special child.
Yes.
I think so as well.
Because Ed O'Neill's like moving his hands to him and stuff, and they can't see Ed O'Neill's face, and they just see Ethan Embry making these like contorted faces, and they're like, "Oh, that's sad."
Yeah.
You boys want to go to Hampton?
But hey, you getting a road trip with some babes
Who
in
turn
an
out to be
IROC.
ladies of the eve.
They are. Dude, I love it when he's like, "What do you do?" And she's like, "Oh, we're call girls." And it gets really quiet. And she's like, I don't want to say prostitute in front of the kid. You just did.
Yeah,
Thanks.
he's like, "Thank you."
Thank you for that. So he passes out.
Yeah,
And-
and Ethan Embry falls in love with this girl.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
I mean, 13, and she's got to
She's
be
listening.
mid-20s at the oldest.
Yeah,
I would have
Whitney
been,
was
I would have
like,
been in the same
Whitney
situation.
was like, "What is this girl, like 15?" I was like, I mean, that's like a
She's got to be at least 18.
that's like a
She doesn't have
taxi
to be.
driver
Yeah.
fucking thing, right? With what Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
right?
I'm thinking, I'm guessing that she's going to be like 19, 20.
Yeah.
And the other chick's going to be in the 24, 25.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's probably mother-daughter.
Elizabeth Daly, by the way,
Yes.
is who. I mean, we can call her Dottie. I just think we got to give that chick recognition because she
Yeah.
also voices Tommy Pickles on Rugrats,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Philip and Lillian.
and you get to see her nerps in Valley Girl.
Yeah, you
Oh.
do.
There was a line.
Oh,
Not the nipples. There was a line that made me laugh inside my head just because I'm a nerd. When they're doing the faces, he's like, "No, if you want to ride, you got to look Grievous." And all I could think of was General Grievous trying to hitchhike.
General Grievous.
He's like spinning his arm off the side of the road trying to
you
hitchhike.
got to be more grievous.
I have cancer. I'm a robot with cancer.
Well, he's not a robot. He's a fucking android. He's been supplementing his parts with robot parts.
He's
That
a full
is a
robot. by the
robot.
time
No,
we
he's
see
not.
him. By the time
No.
we see him, there's no organic parts on him, is there?
How does Kenobi shoot him in the heart with the laser blaster? if
That's
he
where
has-
his battery is.
You see his beating heart burn.
I don't know.
I know the
couldn't tell. It
backstory
all
of-
logot like robot parts because of the terrible CG in that movie.
We're save it for the Star
Save
Wars
it for your
podcast
other
because I have a
podcast.
lot to say about General Grievous. I have some general grievances with General Grievous.
General Grievous.
General grievances. All right.
So back to Hookers and a Firebird.
Camaro.
It is a Camaro with the fat ass fucking fins, not the fins, but
The hood louvers.
the on the back window.
Oh yeah,
Those-
louvers.
Louvers, yeah. So
Louvers.
Louvers.
Barely knew her.
so Doyle's like falling
Couple
in love,
louvers. Never
and
gonna get
just-
laid.
talking shit about his mom, and she's even like, "You should, talk to your mom because it takes two to fuck up a marriage."
Yeah. Well, she didn't keep it together. So you think your mom should have stayed with this cheating asshole?
Yeah, and I
And I
props to
think
her.
that's the thing is mom didn't tell him,
Yeah,
"Oh, your
for
dad's
sure.
fucking other
She
people."
was trying to
She's-
handle it
yeah.
responsibly.
Yeah.
As you
She's trying to be a
should.
good parent versus
Uh-huh.
Chris McDonald's character who is
I can
not.
speak
Just-
from experience.
Just
It happened.
buying friendship from his kid.
Yeah.
And then
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the lotion part.
Oh well, right before that,
The
when they
lotion
are
part
when they are
happens.
introducing that they're call girls, there was one more line that Doyle has because she's like, "We also dance sometimes," and
Naked?
Doyle's like naked, and Dottie is like,
Well,
Dottie is like,
I have a little
well,
brother."
I don't want to say anything inappropriate. It's just on the top, and he just immediately looks right down at the other girl's boobs, and he's just like,
I
She
mean, I
says-
can't fault him. If I'm a 13-year-old, I'm in the same fucking spot.
She says, "I have a little brother. I got this. It's only naked on the top, honey."
So then now Dottie decides to rob Ed O'Neill, who's
Yeah.
sleeping. And I mean, even later when she's like, "I stole his wallet," the girl's like, "Yay!" Why? Because it was there. So I mean, she's got money. She just, you know.
Well,
but
and the
she's-
younger girl seems like this is like a story we aren't another movie. This is like what is it, Oklahoma and whatever from Zombieland, where they have their own thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Because she's like, why'd you steal it? She's like, she kind of implies like they're trying to do something different. They're trying to not be road traveling gypsy
Hookers?
asshole thieves. I don't know. I know you can't say that word, but you know what I mean.
I disagree. I think we should take that word back. I think gypsy's a wonderful word.
As long as you're not using it to refer to the people of Romania. We're using it to refer to road people.
Yeah.
Like the caravans.
Yeah.
But she
Jawas.
seemed like the younger one seemed like she was like, but why are we doing that? We aren't going to do that anymore. And then Dottie's like, yeah, but I did. So
What are you gonna do?
So we're gonna leave now. I do love their little.
But we skipped over
would
the
love
lotion
to
in the
watch
fucking
them.
mouth.
Oh, we did.
She's trying to get
I
his
know, he
ring
cut
off
me
his
off.
pinky finger, and she squirts her lotion dispenser, which is dope, is all
Yeah.
clogged up. So you got to give it that good little, and fucking just money shot of lotion in Ed O'Neill's mouth, and he does great physical work of like that.
and he doesn't wake up. She pulls him over to lay him on her and squirts lotion in his mouth, and he doesn't wake up. They get to this gas station, and she like lightly brushes his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, we're there."
The car stopped moving.
Yeah.
Woke him up like a rocking, gentle baby.
The power, the guns and ammo. The guns and ammo. The fighting scenes on TV stopped.
Oh yeah, somebody turned my TV off. Huh? What?
I don't hear John Wayne chasing any of them their engines.
I don't hear John Wayne doing a flawless Genghis Khan accent. The movie must be over.
Ed O'Neill does wake up like,
Like
man,
still,
like, it's just like, what is in my? And he even does it later in the movie. I noticed, like after they're at
when they get back.
the homeless shelter, and he's still just like, God, because he hasn't been able to brush his
He
teeth.
still does it at the freaking house at the end of the movie.
oh god, he doesn't brush his teeth.
Yeah, because they've been
I
on the.
know. I just thought about it. Just like ew.
They took his.
Right?
They took their bags and everything.
I mean, I can not shower for a while, but brushing the teeth, man, phew. I need
Oh,
it.
and Doyle does drool all over this girl's boobs while she's
Oh, yeah.
sleeping. Well, they're both sleeping. He's not just drooling on them while she's sleeping.
And then when they
And at first, he like wipes his face and he's like, "Oh, like looks embarrassed." And she
But
gets out of
then
the
he said-
car and she's just like,
She wrings it out like a handkerchief, water just pouring out.
And
Ew.
so the guys go inside to get breakfast because they're like, "Oh, we'll meet you in there," and then they just take off. And Ed notices his wallet's missing, and then looks and sees that they're gone. And he's like, "God fucking damn it! They robbed us." Da da da. He's like, "They're coming back. She's really nice. She really likes me.
Uh-huh.
She really
This guy's gonna have a
listened."
hard life ahead of him.
he just learned at 13 the stripper doesn't like you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's gonna learn. I don't think he learned it. Like
I
he's-
think-
he's
I
gonna
don't
go to strip clubs. Like, oh my god, that one loves
Maybe
me.
I'm just a fool because I don't go to strip clubs a lot. I feel like she actually, I mean, she wasn't going to try to bang a 13-year-old, but I feel like that one was genuinely like, no, but they're nice people. That's
I
a
think
nice
she
kid.
thought about giving him a toss off.
I think so too.
Ed O'Neill even says like something about giving him a whirl in the back of the car or something.
Yeah.
She's like, if she gave you a twist in the car or something like that.
I
like,
guarantee you, his actual dad would have been like, "Oh, you're a call girl. How much to take my son's cherry?"
right? I
Piece of
guarantee
shit.
you. he
Yeah,
would've
he
done
would have
that.
done that.
That's how my roommate in college lost his virginity.
Good for him.
His dad bought him a hooker. Anyway,
There's nothing like getting a receipt for your virginity.
Not everybody could be cool
You
like
write
us.
that shit off on your taxes.
so we kind of, this is like where everything's starting to crescendo because Ed O'Neill's like, fuck it, I give up. We have nothing.
It's
I don't
getting
even
worse
have
and
my
worse.
$200. We have literally nothing. Go call your mom. I'm going to sit here and wait till I get arrested.
We get a trailer moment just before that. I just want to bring it up because the trailer moment, the kid's like, "You want another piece of me?" He's like, "You know what? I fucking do." And he's about to beat this kid's ass, but he's like, no, he's a kid. So he does like that air kick where he ends up falling and his shoe flying off. This is the moment from the trailer where it's Ed O'Neill on his back and that shoe falling just bloop
Yep,
right in his
on
face.
his face.
And he splits his pants.
He splits his pants because we're going to see him later.
But it is when he's like telling him like, "Oh, you hate your mom anyway, whatever." And that's when Ethan
He's like, "I'm
Embry's
done. I'm breaking up with your mom."
Ethan Embry's like, "What? Wait, does my mom think I hate her? I don't hate her." Like he's starting to feel bad about it. He's
Yeah.
like, "Wait, I've always just been an asshole, but I didn't actually hate her. I just blamed her."
Think that? Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. Throughout this movie, you've made your mom think you hate her and your whole life.
Yeah.
When they make up and like Ethan Embry calls, no, he doesn't call mom. He calls. I think he calls. No, this is when he calls the dad. This is when it is because he calls the dad and then he comes back because he's like, "I didn't call my mom.
That's right.
We're gonna figure this out on our own."
Oh, so
Oh,
when
but
that's
he's like,
right.
he was
he's
in
like,
the payphone, he called his mom, and she was like, "Hello,
Yeah.
Oh, and he
hello,"
hung up
and just
on
never
her,
said
yeah.
anything. That's right. He calls his dad.
yeah, and then he's like, because now this is when he's like, you know what? Dutch has been here for me. My dad's here and didn't even give a fuck enough to have me over for the weekend.
He lied about going to fucking London so he could just bang this chick.
Yeah.
You know, he could have banged that chick and got me a prostitute. It'd been fine.
Seriously.
But they have their like
That's how I lost
reconnecting
my
moment.
cherries. Multiple times.
No, it's not.
They have their reconnecting moment, and he's like, look, we were robbed by some homebound hookers because you fell asleep and I got horny.
You got horny? You got horny?
Also super uncomfortable to hear a 13-year-old say horny. I was just like, ew.
But then you get the Ethan Embry smile right there, and I was just like, eek.
I don't know. When we were all 13, we talked like this. It's not a bad thing for him to say. It's a bad thing for me to hear.
So me watching this for the first time definitely crushed on him at this point.
Oh, I'm sure you would
Like,
have
I
about the same
fell
age,
in
right?
love. Yeah, he's
Because he's 45 right now.
He's 3 years older than me.
Okay,
He's born in
yeah.
78.
He had a child 8 years after this movie.
Yeah.
She found that last night.
Shut up.
His firstborn
That's
was
weird.
born in 99.
Wow.
So they end up basically sneaking a ride in this like truck that's hauling those concrete
Which it looked
tunnels.
like it was
Cement pipes.
Doyle's idea. He
Yeah.
was like, hey,
And
I got an idea.
I got it.
I'm not gonna lie, other than the fact that it's obviously freezing, that looked kind of fun.
It did.
I said the same thing. I was like, that looks great.
But
And they're like,
all
no,
I
it looks
could-
freezing. I'm like, well, besides that, it looks really comfortable.
All I could picture was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, though, when they're in the farm truck and they're like frozen solid. Another kind of cartoony
I
moment.
kept
but-
expecting planes, trains, and automobiles to drive on the other side of the road from them and just like wave at each other, like just trying to get home.
I loved you in Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Now I get that joke.
Yeah. Finally. You'll forget it next week.
I will.
They get taken to a shipping yard, and so they're like locked in this thing, and they're trying to leave.
Where are we? That's what it said.
Oh, I was like,
That's
oh,
what, no,
no,
that's
where
what he
are
says
we?
to. He's like, where are we? He's like, there's got to be a security guard around here somewhere that knows where we are.
Oh, and
Cut to
Ed
them just
O'Neill-
getting thrown.
Ed O'Neill is getting out of this concrete pipe like any of us would.
Yes.
Hunched over, looking like he needs a cane, and he's about to like wave a
He's
stick at
got
kids.
his scarf wrapped around his
That wind is real.
And Doyle's just like hops down and keeps walking like a fucking kid.
He's all rubber. 13-year-old rubber kid.
But yeah, they find the guards who then throw them out, and they're trying to get back in. Doyle wants to make a phone call, so he goes back in, and the guard shoves him.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Dude, chucks him into the
Oh yeah, he
fence.
doesn't shove him. He picks him up and throws him.
and he gets
into
a
that
contusion
fence.
across
Yeah, he
his brow.
does.
Yeah, and that's when Dutch is like, nobody hits my kid but me. So he goes in there.
Hey, I still owe him a shot in the ass. Don't fucking ruin him.
And he tries to fight them, and they kick his ass. So now Doyle busts out his karate, which it turns out is okay.
It turns out he's a superhero.
Turns
Yeah.
out he's a fucking wrestler.
Like,
he
he
uses
is-
this fence like
Yes,
the
he
fucking
does.
ropes. He
Fantastic.
bounces off of it like The Rock, and then just dives up and fucking kicks this dude in the face.
How
I
much
guess-
you wanna
Since he
bet-
kicks him, I guess it's more like the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
How much you want to bet he improv that shit?
You're right. Yeah, right. No
He
way.
improv jumping 6 feet in the air. No,
No,
the bouncing off the
bouncing
fence.
off the
part?
fence,
All right.
yeah.
Smell what Embry's cooking.
Yeah.
And another nut shot. He kicks this dude square in the balls,
Uh-huh.
which is a good time.
And O'Neill's looking over like, that looks pretty funny from this side.
And then pulls out the gun.
Which looks like a real gun, kind of.
Absolutely.
And this is
it's the
where we
90s.
get-
That's what they're doing, man.
I mean, it's got like the little thing sticking out of the barrel that's like for the BB thing. But other than that, it does
I feel
look like a real
anybody
gun.
really looking would be like, that's a BB. But for the movie, it's, you know.
When a random hobo pulls a gun on you after you attacked
when
him,
Junior Hobo pulls a gun on you, man, you just assume it's a real gun.
and this is their
This
like
whole scene that
Yeah.
they go through right here where he's like, Pete, put the gun away. Tell
Yeah.
the voices you already killed someone.
And he-
Tell the voices.
You know, he gives Emery that look
and
like,
then
play
he
along, dude. And he
fucking
snaps.
gets in it.
Yeah, I killed somebody. Yeah, okay. No, the voices aren't listening. I gotta kill somebody
You gotta
else.
be
man.
quiet.
You gotta be quiet. And he's like, no, let's get out of here. Let's go find a nice motel and burn it down. Yeah, motel. And even the guards are like,
Yeah, we got a
motel
family."
have plenty of people. You should kill them. What? Like,
oh,
what?
I love that. Yeah, you guys probably have families. You don't want to die. I have a family. He's single.
Oh, well, now I have to kill your
Oh,
family.
yeah, why did you tell me that? You have to kill your family. Let the single guy fucking die.
Fucking loved
If
that.
you're any sort of anybody and you hear this kid like, all right, I'm going to leave them alone and go burn down a motel, you have an obligation to make sure this kid doesn't do that.
Not from the
Yes.
guy who picks up and
Yes.
throws a child.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Florida.
The guy who picks up and throws a child doesn't care if you're murdering other
What
people.
about the single guy? He's got
lazy.
nothing. He's got nothing to live for.
Well, he's the one who threw the kid.
Yeah,
Oh, he has nothing to live for.
exactly. So they get out and they get away, and they're just laughing, and you see that bond actually connects.
Yeah,
between
now
them
it's
at that
real. You're
point.
not tolerating each other.
And then
You like each other.
they walk into this like hottie toddy restaurant or
I don't.
whatever.
It seems like it's supposed to be like a hottie totty restaurant.
It looks like
Fridays.
a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, I was thinking
Well,
it
I
looks
was
like
gonna
some kind of like.
Cracker Barrel.
Have you ever watched? I know you have. You ever watched the show Dead Like Me?
No.
Oh, there's this like German restaurant they do all their meetings
is
in,
that
and it looked
restaurant.
exactly like that restaurant.
Okay.
It's just like this kind of shitty German like sausage house.
I mean, it didn't look fancy, but this lady is just like, get the fuck out of here.
Go away, you
sometimes
road people.
Yeah, sometimes these road people wander in here.
I did enjoy the amount of like cement or dirt, whatever it was,
Yeah,
coming off.
all of
Anytime they move or someone pats them on the back, it's just
And
great.
he's just like, my kid's got a contusion. Like, can he just go wash his face? Get the fuck out!
And these people sitting at the table who seemed very familiar, but I didn't.
There's
I mean,
just one-offs for us.
one of them was in something I can't think of right now, but these two people just looked like I was like I've seen them in something, but maybe they just look like '80s people. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
yeah, I didn't recognize them at all.
But they are like, oh, we
Are you really
My
road
husband-
people?
funds this home or shelter for displaced people or something.
Displaced families.
So they take him there, and they're staying in this homeless shelter. And Ethan Embry has his little like he's still trying to be fancy. And this is his first proper meal in this whole movie.
It's a frustrating but
setup.
super fun scene. It's frustrating because I want like just eat your fucking food.
Well, everybody around him's just scarfing, right? Because they're starving.
Yeah.
And he's just like trying to place his forks and move his plate and like put a.
Polish
He's
every
got a
piece
fucking
of
wet nap that he
silverware.
like fluffs out and puts on his lap.
Wipes his face down. Everything's all symmetrical and perfect.
The little girl tries to take half of his
that's
like
cute.
That
Little
is
biscuit.
yeah.
mine.
And yeah, this is kind of his turn moment because he's like, "No, that's mine." And the girl looks sad, and he's like, "Okay." And then he gives her the one she didn't touch.
I know. I was like, gross.
Yeah, why that one?
Yeah, you want to eat the touched one?
I think he's realizing he's like, man, like this is me having a rough moment. This is her life.
Yeah.
Like this sucks if I had to do this all the time.
Yeah, and this little girl and her family are important for the next couple minutes of the movie. 'cause
You
it's
recognize the
basically
mom at
over.
all?
Yes.
This older black lady?
I did.
I
and
did.
I couldn't
look
pin
her
it.
up though.
So it took me a while because I'm like, I know her. I can see her with like glasses on the edge of her
Yes.
nose. Maybe she's a judge. She is Andre Bauer in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, his mom, the judge.
Oh.
Oh,
She has like
okay.
one strong episode. I think that's all she's in. She's in a lot of other stuff, mind you, but that's
Okay.
just like me. I was like,
Nine-Nine?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Nine-Nine.
99.
A lot
So-
of people in 9-9 that come through my life.
Yes.
They're trying to sleep in the area with all
Oh,
the cots,
the
and Ed
scene.
O'Neill's cot keeps falling apart, and everybody is getting mad at him. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, it's not his fault.
Which I don't want to sound classist, but if you are someone that's staying in a home, you've probably slept on the street, this cot ain't waking you up.
No,
This cot's
that,
not bothering
that one
you.
particular old man can go fuck himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a problem here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
My cot is breaking.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a big problem.
And all he does is lift it back up and then sit back on it. I'm like, well, that's not gonna work.
Uh-uh.
But it doesn't fall over again. Then the springs fall out, and it's like whatever. And that's when he trades. He's like, trade with me. I'm like, what makes you think it'll hold me up? I'm 15,000 cheeseburgers ahead of you.
And that is a real measurement.
Yes, it is in our life.
And he has this conversation with the little girl from the diner or from the dining area, and
He's making faces at
This
her.
little
She's
girl,
loving it.
Yeah.
she's
there's-
Oh, he
cute.
doesn't talk to her really. He talks to the mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they have a really nice, heartfelt conversation.
Yeah, and she's like, "Is that your dad?" And he's like, "Yeah, it is." And Ed O'Neill smiles, and it's so touching.
It is touching.
Yeah, and, your mom with you? No, she's back in Chicago. I bet you miss
Yeah,
her.
no, because of this scene, my blood sugar spiked though,
Uh-huh.
and I had to go get insulin. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's so sweet.
It's a little sweet,
Yeah.
dude. It's a little. I threw up.
I enjoyed it.
But they all
Wilford
end up.
Brimley came in. He's like, "Careful, diabetes."
But then she does mention that they have a car. They're like, we had to live out
Yeah,
of
they
a
were
car
living
for a
in their
while.
car. The dad's looking for work because he was let go from one of the many factories that was closing at the time.
And I think it kind of taught the kid too, like when a factory closes, your dad still has money.
Well, and
These
she was
people
like,
have no jobs.
yeah, she was like, "Oh, this is actually a really nice place to stay, whatever." And he's like, "Oh shit, this is nice for you."
Yeah,
Like,
this is
he's-
the best you've had
Yeah.
it for a while.
Yeah, and I don't think if he would have had this exact same experience, but without all the stuff that led up to it, he would have been like, "Gross, you're a gross poor person."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But because he's had all this other stuff, Ed O'Neill's plan kind of worked.
It did.
I
And
mean,
then
it went off the rails, but it got him to
Yeah,
the
I mean, because he
destination.
had money until it got stolen, and then his whole plan was we'll take this road trip and bond.
What did you say? He lost $200.
$200, yeah.
What would that be now?
About 500.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty upset then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still not enough for 3 nights of motels, but
Well, where he's staying, it might
I
be.
guess it might be, yeah. Because I'm like, these days, a fucking Motel 6 is fucking $120 a night. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
remember when it used to just be like 80?
Remember when it used to be 25?
Nope.
Nope.
I stayed at a hotel in Las Vegas.
I drive a van. I sleep where I want.
When I was
You're
in
one of
college,
those people.
2007, 2008, something like that, we went to Vegas and stayed in a hotel. I mean, it was just off the strip, and it was America's Best Inn. But my friend and I got a room with 2 beds for $25 a night.
Yeah, and that's 2 beds. That's lavish.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go like head to toe so the parts can't lock up.
They still lock up.
So Chris McDonald arrives at the house pretty much the same time as Doyle and
Well,
Dutch,
he
who are
gets
getting a
there
ride
first.
from
Chris O'Donnell?
Yeah, Chris McDonald.
So Shooter
Chris
McGavin
O'Donnell.
shows
That's
up
the
first.
fucking shithead that plays Robin.
Chris McDonald. Sorry.
So he's like ringing incessantly this fucking doorbell, and I just want to punch him.
Oh, can't stand it.
And
Yeah.
so she opens it, and before she even sees who walks in, she plants a fucking kiss.
Yeah.
You shouldn't open your door with your eyes closed.
Don't
No.
kiss
You
strangers.
know, life advice. What if it's just Jason standing there in a hockey mask and you just plant one on him?
And they did get a
He
ride
won't
from.
murder you?
Oh, I think he would murder you harder.
Then he's walking around the rest of the movies with lipstick on his mask. He's just got little pouty lips.
Someone's listening to this that's going to write that movie. Like
Please.
Jason with just a big kiss mark on his face or his
No,
mouth.
right on the mouth.
Right on
yeah,
the
so it
mouth.
looks like he's got big pouty lipstick lips while
Yeah.
he's murdering people.
Please
I
do.
love it.
We want to see it.
But yeah, the family does give them a ride, and we drive past this big construction site that says Dooley Construction, so we know that's because that's his
he's
last
not
name.
just well-to-do, he owns a business.
Yeah,
Yes,
a
he
big
does.
business.
But
A
nice
here's
business.
my thing. You thank the family. He does good, right? He thanks the family and he goes, "Come by my office. I'm going to get you a job."
Yeah.
Why not invite them in? This is a huge fucking
It's
house.
not his
dude.
house.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You tell this wife.
I mean, yeah, you're
This
right.
wife's gonna be understanding. If Derek went through all this and goes, "Hey, this family got me here.
100%.
and
We
it's
have enough food.
fucking disgusting."
You mean
cold
planes,
and
trains, and automobiles?
Yes.
That's why they didn't do it.
That's why.
He's like, I already
no,
did
I
it.
just I'm like, if I'm dropping you off at this giant house, like, all right, see you later. Go back to the shelter. I'm like, this motherfucker.
So my first thought, because they hadn't shown anything other than the construction site, they were pulling up to this house, and I was like, these people are like, the fuck were you doing in the shelter?
Yeah, fuck you. You're taking beds, man.
I'm sure off scene, like something that that wasn't scripted, like something along the lines of, "This is what happened.
sure.
We got
Oh,
robbed.
yeah.
This is a situation."
Yeah.
I mean, because he tells them, he doesn't offer him the job then. He says, give me a call and I'll see what I can do, which I think is a nice way of saying I'll get your job. But
Yeah.
it's like they've already had that conversation.
Yes.
So
And I don't need to see it. I'm just saying, like, dude.
Invite him in.
It's a huge fucking house.
Warm
with
him
heat
up.
on.
Let him stay the
this
night.
station wagon is like the remains
Falling
of the
apart.
family truckster from fucking road trip.
yeah, I was thinking
from
Tommy
vacation.
Boy with the fucking like the gate on the
Mercedes.
side.
It's really close to the remains of the family fucking truckster.
Or
man.
Mustang, not Mercedes. It was a
Yeah,
Mustang.
it's a Mustang.
And
Tommy
Tommy
Boy.
Boy.
no,
No?
Pontiac GTX.
Oh, okay.
Oh, see, fuck me.
Oh yeah,
Well,
So
you know
cut
what?
all of that.
All I know is it had chocolate in the dash, and
it's got a thin candy shell. Surprised you didn't know that.
your brain has a thin candy shell.
You're the one with the shell on it. What's that? Nothing.
So I do love.
That's
She
good
tells.
banter.
She's
Yeah,
telling
well.
Chris McDonald he needs to get the fuck out, and the maid is already standing there with his jacket, like, "Here you go." And
By the
Whitney,
way, is that chick not a fucking female Emmett Walsh?
Yes. Yes, she is.
Tom, you've overstayed your welcome. Time for you to get the fuck out.
I
don't
was
worry,
like-
your boy will be happy to see you.
I was so that's Zoe just like, "Get your shit, here you go." And his fucking response.
I was like, no. Zoe will put the jacket outside, and she's like, "Your coat's outside."
Well
"Get
done.
the fuck
Dude,
out."
my roommate, like for her birthdays, her family like comes over and like does shit and makes a big thing. And it's like 5 o'clock. She's like, "Thanks everyone. If you want leftovers on your way out," she will just like, "I'm done."
Just
I wanna
walk around
be-
handing Tupperwares to people, like,
Thank you for
coming.
I put your leftovers with your keys on the way out by the door.
I put your leftovers with your keys. Oh, where are those? They're in your ignition. Your car's running.
You might want to get out there. It's not a great neighborhood.
And that is Zoe.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hey, I respect if I walk into your house and and I'm here for a party and there's a sign that says "Welcome, please leave by 9." I'm setting a timer. I respect that.
But yeah, he
You're not a person at the bar at closing.
Yeah, right? You don't have to flash your lights at your house for me to get out of here.
Shooter McGavin definitely tries to upper hand O'Neill again.
Oh yeah,
When
when he's
he's
like,
like,
"This is a family
"Step
affair."
outside.
Yeah, he shuts the
I
door on
wanted-
him, and Ed O'Neill doesn't even move. The door just hits him, and he's
I
just
wanted
No,
a
smiling.
he keeps his hand in the door and doesn't.
Oh, but he's just smiling. He's just standing in the doorway, and he's just like,
I wanted
okay.
one line from Ed O'Neill, like, you're damn right, it's a family matter, and then step back in. Like, this is my family, dude.
Yeah.
And that he's like, I'm telling you right now, you choose me or your mom, and that's final. And he's like, I choose mom, Dad.
Yeah. Because
And
he
I
even
was
says,
just
like, I
like,
cut my business trip early for you. He's like, you didn't
You
go.
fucking liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he calls him out on it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Shooter McGavin is like, you need to be out of the house by Monday because he already held this over her head earlier because he
Oh,
pays for the
very
house.
beginning of the movie. He's like,
Yeah.
you have a comfortable place to live, you get a check, and I get the son. Don't fuck that up.
And that's the only reason she says that's the only reason she deals with him because of the son. She's like, I don't give a fuck about the house or the check.
yeah.
So yeah, he tells him you need to be out by Monday, and he leaves. And Ed O'Neill follows him out,
He's like, just give me 1 second, guys.
Just gotta have a chat.
and he just punches him right in the forehead with this pinky ring.
Oh, we forgot he had said to Ethan
Oh,
Embry
yeah.
earlier, he's like, the last guy that I punched
Has a dent in their forehead.
has a dent in his forehead, and he drools when he smiles.
Yeah. And Shooter McGavin is like loopy as fuck. And he's like, so you're going to give her 6 months and you're going to do this and that. And he's like, okay, sure.
Great bit of physical comedy, too, when he's walking
Yes.
away, man. Like,
He
he's
slips.
dazed and lost.
Oh, over
I
here.
loved it when he slipped on the stairs, but he didn't fall. And he's like, I'm okay. And then he gets to his car and he slips and
Fucking
falls.
great.
And I was like, and then he gets in the car and dies on the drive home
I
because
thought that, too. Like, you might want to just chill in that car. I know it's cold. It's Chicago, so get in the car. Calm down for a little bit. Don't go to sleep. You might be concussed.
so they have their sweet little dinner
Yes.
scene. And Ed
Oh, I
O'Neill.
made you all this turkey.
And Mom is so
Oh, look,
lost
here's,
at this.
here's a turkey. I'm not going to cut it for you, though.
Cut it
Goodbye.
yourself. Ed O'Neill, I heard you got some good knife skills.
Here's a butcher knife. Have fun.
Oh, I want to see Ed O'Neill butcher this fucking turkey.
It was a damn good looking turkey, though.
Yeah, it was.
And yeah, he's like, I have a surprise for your mom in my jacket. Why don't you go get it? And Ethan Embry starts walking away.
I've got a surprise for your mother. It's a French tickler.
I've got a surprise
Free
for your mother in
speech.
my pants.
And you're like, oh shit, does he actually have an engagement ring? Like,
That's
yeah.
what I
going
thought it was
on?
going to be.
Yeah.
But then immediately, as he was walking out the door, Ethan Embry stops and he's like, oh shit. And at that moment is when Ed O'Neill pulls the gun out. And the
And
mom's
then-
like, wait,
What
what?
the-
What the? Yeah, what are you doing to my son? I owe him a shot in the ass. Hey, phrasing.
No, and then he like jokes and like pretends to put away, and everybody starts laughing, and then he was like, ha ha.
And
Pulls
that's
it
why I
out.
think this movie's genius. Because
Credits.
any other movie, like, stop there, it's a joke. No, Ed O'Neill's like, no, I owe you a fucking shot.
I'm not a liar. I'm a man of my word. Cut to
told you.
black. Yowza, I'm pretty sure. is
You
what he
hear, you
said.
hear the shoot, ka-ching.
Yeah, another fucking shell casing. So Ed O'Neill killed this kid.
Yep. Yowza.
I shot him in the ass, but we lost the BB gun, but I found a 45. So
Same, right? I don't know guns very well. 45 is smaller than a BB gun.
And then the credits song. Do you recognize the credits song? We just heard this credit song a couple of weeks ago. This is the exact same credit song from Men at Work.
Shut up.
Well, he even put it on because it was like, you may also like.
Which,
and it
by the
was
way,
right
I
there.
fucking paid to rent Men at Work, and now it's on Max.
Yeah.
It's horse shit. But yeah, the song was playing, and I was like, is this a song from Men at Work? She's like, I don't know. I forget everything now.
Yeah.
So I went to Men at Work.
I should have known that, though.
And I fast forwarded to the end. She's like, you could have just Googled it. I was like, nope. Fast forward to the end, hit play, and I might as well just hit play on the credits.
Yeah.
It started like at the exact same spot. It's the same Ziggy Marley song.
Yeah,
Give a little
exact
love.
Yeah, okay, good.
And that's that.
Yeah. Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Yay.
happy Thanksgiving. So I definitely want to say
Happy end of fucking November. That's
this
all it is.
this fucking held up for me. I laughed just as much as I did when I was a kid. I give this 3 thumbs up. I still love this movie.
And like I said earlier, I was nervous it wasn't going to hold up beyond expectations. This is so fucking good. I'm going to try and find, Derek will be proud of this. I want this on physical media.
I even told him I felt bad that this was his first time watching it.
Yeah.
Some of the
But
hard-
now the big thing though, the virgin in the room.
Yeah.
How was your first fucking twist in the backseat of a Camaro?
she could twist me.
Twisted for real.
I thought I was not gonna like it. I thought I was like, it's gonna be stupid. I'm not gonna care. I actually very much enjoyed it. I laughed a
Yeah.
lot. I had a good time. I even texted you at 3:30 in the morning when
I-
you were sleeping, And I was like, okay, that was good.
Yeah, no, I got up at like 6 a.m. and I looked, and it was okay. That was beautiful. Because I text him. Derek texted me. He's like, "We watching together." I was like, "Oh, I just got done watching," and of course, jokingly, I was like, "Man, we can't do an episode about this. It's too fucking good. It's too perfect." And we can do an episode about anything, with the caveat of saying this just wasn't a bad movie.
Not at all.
The budget, the box office dictates that it was a bad movie.
Correct.
But
it was
my
a failure.
eyeballs and ears dictate it was an awesome movie.
Yeah, and I mean, it's full of child abuse. It's
So's my
full of
childhood.
questionable moral things.
So's
but
my
it's
childhood.
it's 1991, so
So was my childhood.
I was 10 in 91.
Yeah, I was around there.
I was 6. I don't know how I never saw this. I didn't see a lot of movies. My parents weren't big movie people. Like, we would go and rent movies. Like, I remember going to some mom and pop place and renting movies when I was really young. I remember going to Blockbuster a lot once they had killed all the mom and pops. But I feel like my parents were mostly renting, like, what was the new movie? And I was mostly
Sure.
renting video games.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we just didn't watch a lot of movies. So a lot of these movies that people grew up with, I just didn't see.
I'm kind of a little
So-
jealous of you because I wouldn't mind watching it now for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Because now I'm the bitter, jaded Ed O'Neill.
I did find myself switching places. Like,
I feel like
fuck
he's
you.
100% right every fucking step of the movie.
Yeah.
Shitbird.
So this movie did mean a lot to me because it was something my stepdad and I watched together.
Oh, for sure. All the feels then.
And my stepdad is Ed O'Neill. Well, he's my
Your dad is Michael Keaton.
And my
your stepdad
stepdad
is Ed O'Neill. Man, we're going to find out your mom's like
But, like,
Danny
Harry-
DeVito or something. I don't know.
Harry never.
I mean, she's as tall as Danny DeVito.
Harry never let us get away with anything. Like, he was like, "Fuck you.
Yeah.
You earn your keep." Like, I mean, I've told stories about his OCD shit.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, and you fucked with him with it.
Yes,
You're a good
I
person.
did.
Yeah, that was a lot
I
of
was a
fun.
shepherd, so it was.
Weren't we all?
This movie definitely
I wasn't.
my heartstrings.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I had
Be
fun.
happy.
That was a good one.
So happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
It'll be less stressful to watch around Thanksgiving time than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So
Which I'm still going to do. And I put this now probably at my number 2 Thanksgiving movie. It's Son-in-Law, number 1.
I need to watch it again. I haven't seen Son-in-Law
It's
since
been
I
a
was a
while.
teenager.
I think it holds. I mean, at me when you're done. Like,
I mean,
think it holds
I've
up.
seen other Pauly Shore movies since then that aren't as good of movies.
This is
like
also the best.
Encino Man.
Yeah.
And what else did I watch?
Biodome.
Biodome, yes. And those are like the worst ones. They're less of a movie than that, like an
For
actual
sure.
movie. And I still enjoyed those. So I'm
Yeah,
sure I'll enjoy
I
it.
think this one's the best.
Tiffany Amber
The-
Thiessen is in Son-in-Law, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the biggest movie, like the most movie.
So that'll be all for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to rate and review. Don't forget to check out Evasion. They provide our music and they're great. Buy some shirts if you feel like it, or even if you don't, buy them for your friends and your family.
Hey,
the
Christmas
holidays are
coming
coming
up.
up.
They
Yeah.
got hats. That you can get coffee mugs.
Hey, you know what? If
Hanukkah.
you're Jewish, there's 7 days of gifts. Buy them 7 T-shirts.
There you go.
They're like, I don't even know what Bad Movies Worst People is. Why do I have so many of these
Here's
T-shirts?
a link. You will.
Next week, I'm not sure yet. We haven't decided. I don't.
Ooh, surprise to all 3 of us.
Ooh,
Yeah.
surprise to everybody. So
I've got a suggestion.
Don't
Not
change
right now.
that
I'm not
dial.
telling you
Okay.
now. I have a suggestion.
Because I don't know if I want to go like. I feel like we don't need to do holiday themes all the time. This was
No,
one
no,
I'd
no.
heard about, and I was like, well, it's Thanksgiving, But so I don't know if we're gonna go Christmassy or if we're just gonna do random poll, whatever. But tune in because then you'll find out.
Oh, yeah. So will we.
Yeah.
yeah.
And coming up shortly, the next major holiday
My birthday.
for
Oh,
America.
no, my birthday's
or
already passed.
Whatever. Christmas. We have another guest. Well, a repeat guest coming back.
Ooh.
We will have Steve from Bucket of Chum, the
Yay!
Shark Movie Podcast, joining us for a Christmas-themed shark movie.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
excited.
That's great.
I am super stoked for this.
So look forward to that too. But that's all for now. Oh, did I mention the website? Go to the website. Do stuff.
Yeah.
Badmoviesworstpeople.com and follow us on all our places. Look for Bad Movies Worst People or BMWP Podcast. We're on TikTok. We're kind of on Twitter /X, but I don't do anything there because I hate it. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on.
You can also find us
Other
on
ones.
YouTube under New Movies Worst People.
You still look up Bad Movies Worst People.
Okay.
But it's our sideshow, New Movies Worst People. We're on there too. All that stuff's on our website. Thank you guys. We will speak to you again next week, and you can't speak back. I have been Derek.
I'm still Whitney.
I'm Jack, and I'm 15,000 cheeseburgers ahead.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, burps like bacon.
I can burp on demand.
If you've thought about recording a podcast before, but like myself, realize you need a lot of different tools and services, well, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and easily distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. You can record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests and feel a sense of zen knowing that Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Go to Zencastr.com/pricing and use my code WORSEPeople, that's WORSEPEOPLE, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.